Okay, folks, as always, when I do these live videos, they're super informal. Today, I think I got every Invicta. I haven't gone through my watches for quite some time. Um, I think I'm going to estimate 400 to 500 watches. So I don't know exactly how many. And I'm including watches that I got when I was like, 18, 19, even a kid in some cases. I have like an old Star Wars watch I got when I was probably like 5. And so today I have right here every Invicta watch I have, with the exception of 2. I didn't grab like the Pro Diver in red, and I didn't grab my two-tone yellow rose gold Grand Diver, just because I feel like everybody has seen those watches before. Where some of these, what do I got here? I got 5, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Probably just do this 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 46 Invicta watches. And so, I thought I had more, to be honest with you, but I do have another one. I have another one. Yeah, there is no one. So I was pretty on top of my estimation. I said in a couple of videos I had about 50 Invictas. It's about right. And I've only sold a few, so I probably topped at maybe 60 Invictas over the years. Now, the rest of the watches, thankfully, are due to brand collaborations, whether it be, Dartmouth, which I'm great company, super generous with me. I've been very happy working with them. And, it's added a lot, Duke. So every brand under Dartmouth is like Nubeo, RGMT, Cadola, Aviate, Spinnaker. Like, I have tons of watches based on those collaboration deals, which has been awesome. I mean, yeah, it's like I said, I can't express to you how lucky I am that I'm working with companies like this. It's been great. So, but a lot of the Invictas, all the Invictas I purchased my own money. These are watches I bought with my hard-earned money, and which is why I just know that, Invicta. So let me just start off. Like I said, these are very informal, and I'm just kind of ramble on and probably repeat myself a lot because we only have 2 folks watching now, and I'm hoping this gets recommended more people. It's a Sunday. I don't know how often people pop on, especially during the summer. It's a slow time of year in August. So I wanted to at least do this so maybe you guys will catch it on the rerun. But just show you guys Invicta and why I fell in love with the brand. Some folks think that like I'm the Invicta guy, and I kind of been painted with that brush because my watch collecting. I hate using all the all the fucking influencers. They always use the same jargon. Oh, it's a workhorse movement. It's my watch journey. Not everything has to be so fucking dramatic nowadays. I like collecting watches. I sell some. I keep most. I've sold a few Invictas mainly because they just weren't getting wrist time. And usually when I sell like an Invicta, it's because I've seen some other brand that I don't have a collaboration with that I'm like, I'd like to get my hands on one of those, like the bull of a precisionist. I think I sold one of my Invictas, put the money towards that. And so, but I've been painted like Phatkat Collections is always like the Invicta guy, and I'm not really just the Invicta guy. Like I'll always stay true to, I don't want to say my roots, right? Because I didn't start off with Invicta. I discovered the brand, and the watches I'm going to share with you guys today are my favorite Invictas. And I don't buy a lot of Invictas anymore just because the brand has changed a lot. I really feel like when they were, using influencers like myself, and I remember I never got, Invicta is all these years has never sent me any free watches, which I think is absolutely incredible. But I do feel like Invicta's, if we do, I still, let me just start off with, do I still like the brand? I do. Do I find watches I still want to buy? Very rarely. Like I saw an all white, kind of Richard Mille kind of Tanu style case with the forged carbon bezel, all in white, it's got like some like fluorescent, you get green, orange, or red accents, kind of like engraved into the, like I always reference forged carbon, almost like like a gun stock or like a compound bow stock or a regular bow stock. It's like that laminated wood, and some of those carbon watches, they sort of had that look. And so they have like a fluorescent orange, fluorescent neon green, and a red infused in this like all white watch. I love it, but I have so many now that I don't even wear. It's very wasteful. So now I just really am into saving money, and I'm investing it, right. And so I will always buy watches. I'll always find an Invicta that I want, but I've definitely slowed down. And back 10 years ago, what's up, Kyle? I'll kind of stop talking and welcome people to it and they get on the chat. So I've kind of stopped, buying watches just because I get so many. And there is a point, I think, I don't want to use the word journey, but I think there is a point that when you start collecting a lot, you will start to, I don't think, and everybody's different. My tastes haven't really changed, but what I wear more on a daily basis has. So I typically wear smaller watches just out and about, right? When I'm just kind of doing whatever. Sitting on the couch, lounging. Usually, I don't have a watch on now. What the fuck? Usually, I'll always have a watch on. What am I doing? I'm losing it, folks. No watch on a watch show and tell. I'm sorry, folks. Well, we're going to throw some on the wrist here. Like I said, if you just tuned in, I have almost a state of my Invicta collection -3. And they're ones that, I do wear them, but I just figured you guys have seen pro divers before. Kyle just said you got to throw one of those on. I know. I just got done doing some Oceaniva videos. So I was like, you know what? Because folks have asked me for years, do a state of the collection. And I can't do a state of the full collection. It's just too much work. And, the YouTube algorithm has changed so much. Like, my channel does not get the views it used to. I'm half of the views I used to get. But subscriber count keeps growing. So it's more like targeted views, I think. But, I just don't get – the Invicta is a very difficult brand to rank for nowadays, which is incredible because the guys you see with Invicta are usually cutting the brand down. And all my videos are kind of lost, which sucks because there's still people who are – I had a lot of fun when I first started getting into Invicta, watching the Shopping Network – watching Invicta Ryan, and I think Invicta Ryan actually wears Invicta, whereas Kennedy and those folks, I don't know if they ever really wore them. I don't know. They're like salesmen, where I kind of believe Ryan a little more. I kind of feel like he's a little more authentic, and I feel like he does wear them. Whereas some of the other folks reviewing Invicta, I was like, yeah, they review Invicta, but then they put on their Rolex. But whereas I love the brand again, and I do miss seeing those not infomercials, but those Shop HQ events, and I never got into the whole cruise thing, or guys get really into it, that's just not my thing. I'm just more private, and so but I said, I still really enjoy the brand, and I just want to share. I'm just kind of rambling on, and I'll give it some more time so we see, hopefully get some more people in here. But if you do miss this on the live stream, you can always watch on the rerun. And a lot of these watches I'm going to share are ones that I don't think I'll ever get rid of, because they are kind of meaningful to me, but I don't really wear them all that much anymore. Realistically, I really don't, because they are big, and for my job, it's physical. I don't want to risk wearing one of these watches that are sentimental to me, because I just don't, I want to keep them looking as new as possible. And I have other options, right? So we'll just kind of start, and let's kind of get the show on the road here. We got 5 people. I will throw a watch on Kyle in a second here. And these are in no real order here, but now I keep all my watches in a safe, multiple safes. And some folks over the years have said, why are you protecting Invicta? Nobody wants that. That's just a stupid thing to even say, because there are crackheads. There are people who will take anything. If you ever watch, if I used to work loss prevention years ago, you ever work loss prevention, people steal everything. And if somebody wants to, do a snatch and grab, everything has value. Everything. And for anybody who says Invicta watches have no value, you're pissing your money away. I can put any one of these watches on eBay and almost get for what I paid for them. And if I can't get what I paid, I can get pretty close to it, because everybody kind of discovers things at different points in their life. There are people right now discovering Invicta, and I know because they comment, they find some of my old videos, and they're like, oh my God, I'm looking for this, or people have offered to buy my watches, right? I don't sell these because I do really like them, and I still wear them. I just don't wear them as much as smaller watches, and that's a lot of it has to do with my job. I'm not going to wear these big, beautiful, pieces of jewelry doing what I'm doing, right? Just there's always a risk there of damaging them. So I'll wear a watch, and I'm not really if I break it, I'm not going to be happy about it, like a different watch, but I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I can't replace this, Invicta has changed. Let me first kind of start off with that. Invicta has definitely changed. They are not the company they used to be. Does that mean they're making garbage? No, they still make cool watches, but I don't know if they got rid of their designers or they have new people working there or what, but it is a stagnant brand. I think they went bankrupt. I think I remember reading something about that. Comment if you know. They ceased working with the home shopping networks, which is really weird because like they're on Jewelry Television, but they're not like on. So I don't know who's in charge of their marketing, but I think this is kind of like one of those situations where a brand gets cocky. And you have a brand, and I will tell you, I have referred over to Invicta over $100,000 in sales in the time I was working as an affiliate. I ceased all collaborations with them when they hacked their commission from agreed upon 6%. You guys know I don't hold back. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you some bullshit. From 6% down to 0.5% to 1%. And that's not worthy of my link. I would rather link to someone to eBay. I'd rather link you to nowhere than to get somebody to piss on my head and tell me it's raining like that. And that's the problem with some of these brands. Aragon did the same thing. Aragon never had an affiliate commission program, but like Aragon used to send me watches to review, share with folks, and then they got too big for their britches. Now, Aragon's still a very successful company, and they are definitely a great brand in the watch world. There's no downplaying that. Their quality is great. Is it better than these Invictas? No, they're on par. Despite what the watch snobs will tell you, they're on par. All watches nowadays, because of modern machining, are pretty darn good. There's always going to be subtle differences, but it's not night and day. But I think if we focus, just on Invicta, they decided we don't need people anymore. We have the brand now. And I think and again, I'm just speculating. These are just my opinions. But I think Invicta really got too cocky, and you're only as good as the people who are really interested in your employees, who's designing your products, who's marketing them. And I think, a lot of folks, when I get very excited still for these watches, even though I don't wear them as much anymore, that comes across in a video. There's always somebody watching a video saying, man, I want that. There's always things out there that I see other guys, reviewing and I want it, So I think there was a real mistake. And I think that the company is, it's not what it was. There's very rarely I used to go to Invicta stores and watch Shop HQ and Evine all the time and see watches that would make me want to do the value pay. It's like, I don't need another watch, but if I do the value pay, then it's like, I'm not really buying it. And before you know it, I own it. And it's like, I didn't even spend the money, So I always talked myself into doing that. And, I never went crazy with like their credit card or anything like that. I usually would just buy the watches, but I did do value pay sometimes. And, the last time I saw Invicta watch that I did get this one. Oh, here, let's just start. Okay. I rambled on long enough. Let's start. Let me throw this one on, Kyle. This one here is the Grand Diver. I have this in a rose tone and yellow tone gold as well. What a great watch. Anybody who says this watch is not on par with watches that cost $1,000 is just nuts. This has got everything. Now, you may not like the gold. You may not like oh my God, I love this watch. You may not love the iced out red. I love red and gold. I mean, look at the excitement right now. Like it's fun for me to do these because I don't get this excited about every brand, right? And they're all fun to wear. They're all fun to get. But man, the Invicta watch, it just takes me back. I used to get these, and I had a different job where I wear these every day. My coworkers were into them, and we're always like, they were like, what are you guys doing? Everybody's wearing these huge watches. It was just a lot of fun, and now, people, what they're into change, not a lot of those guys aren't into watches anymore, where I still am, but man, this watch is just absolutely awesome. Sorry. So you can see, I fly off on a tangent here, because the brand does that to me, but 316 stainless steel, NH35 movement, flame fusion crystal. Is it sapphire? No. Is it very scratch resistant? Yeah. I think Ben's Watch Club did a scratch test with that kit, and this was I think 2 notches behind sapphire. So still very scratch resistant. Do you need sapphire? You really don't. If you're going to jam this into some sand or something, if this was like a dive watch, you wouldn't have all the bling on it, right? This is not even though it's a dive watch, yeah, you could take it in the water. Yeah, you could dive with it, but it's not really for that. It's a dive style watch, right? And so, to have a sapphire crystal, it's not really necessary. You're not going to scratch this just wearing it around the house or you're wearing it out and about. You're just not. right? So amazing watch. The Pro Diver, excuse me, the Grand Diver, very similar to a Pro Diver, just a little more. They have the everybody hates the Invicta on the side. I like it. It doesn't bother me. They do like that Cartier style crown with the little kind of sapphire, imitation sapphire sewn on the crown, and then they have Grand Diver on the side. I think it's great. I can't imagine people like why you'd look at a watch and be like, oh, that really bothers me, and you want to like polish it off. I just don't get it. Don't buy the fucking watch, you know. But to each their own. What an amazing watch! And every time I put this watch on, because I have watches that cost thousands of dollars, and I put this on, and I say, wow, this is $120, and I'm just blown away at the bang for buck you get with Invicta. And this is still, you know, they're still doing it great with the Grand Diver, absolutely. And the Pro Diver, same thing, but there are Pro Divers and there are Pro Divers. There are cheapy Pro Divers and there are better Pro Divers. So if you compare this to a Pro Diver feels very tinny compared to this. It's probably because there's some hollow links in there, but this, very nice. Hence why they call it the Grand Diver. I mean, milled clasp. I'm not going to dive too much into each watch, but it is a great piece. And this I got, every year my parents are like, what do you want for your birthday? And I saw this watch. It kept popping. You know how the ads are, right? So like I'll look at something. Next thing you know, my mom sees it pop up in an Invicta ad on her iPad. She's like, ooh, look at this watch. You know, she knows her boy. And I was like, oh, I know. I've been looking at that. And so they got me this for, I think, last year's birthday. And I love it. I wear this probably more than any of my other Invictas. I love the rubies. Obviously, you know, I got some rubies and stuff. It is such a great piece. So, and I'll try to give you a story with every watch, right? But some of these, like this is another birthday. This is another, they call this a specialty, I think, but it's really just a big, like, Pro Diver. And, you know, still awesome. Milled clasp, you know, it's not as nice as the Grand Diver, but fully encrusted in crystals, right? All the way around, like, the links on top of your wrist. They don't put them on the bottom because, like, you could, you know, you're going to bang it and stuff like that. So it's a little more durable to have them like this. If you want this to blend in a little more, you could go with the silver version, but NH35 movement, it's big. I think this one's like close to like 58 millimeter. It's a big boy. You know, it just this sucker hits the light. It just sparkles. Very cool watch. Look at that huge. I mean, massive. This one doesn't get the red one gets a lot more wrist time, but I love these iced out versions. And you don't always. It's hard to find quality watches that have ice. I've said that many times. If you want to get like bling bling watches, like $30, there's a huge difference in quality. You know, if you want to get like Hello Ice, I think is a brand. Like I have one. Yeah, they're cool, but you're getting the ice on top of over the quality, right? Whereas these watches, you're getting the ice, but it's on top of the quality. So. You know, Duxo does the same thing, but they don't do as much the extreme stuff. But Duxo, I have most of those. I'll do a state of my collection with Duxo as well at a later date, probably in a live stream. But that's one of the few brands that does a lot of, you know, iced out bezels that gives you a good quality watch as well. Remember, quality watch is first, you know. So then we'll just kind of continue on with some of the smaller ones here. The Sub-Aqua Specialty, one of my favorite watches that Invicta makes, probably my favorite watch. And so I have many variations of this. I think they're all here. I hope. Yeah. But they did a mid-size. And they call this a female version. Man, this is just a unisex watch. And these came out, they were $99. Unbelievable price on these. And you get the black spinel. Not black crystals. Like the red one, it's not rubies. That's the only downside. The other one I showed you, the crystals, they're just crystals. But this is actually black spinel. So it's actually like, it's a real gemstone. And I always like when companies actually use a real gemstone. There's no, you know, it looks the same, but you can't tell this isn't black diamond. There's anybody who tells you, oh, I can tell it's fake. Like, no, this is true black spinel. There's nothing fake about it. And side by side, it's indistinguishable from a diamond. You'd have to have a gemologist like actually look at it with a loupe to tell the difference. So love it. And again, this is what Invicta, I think Invicta could really rebrand a little bit if they started making these amazing designs in mid-size. Aragon does it. They don't do the big stuff anymore, but they took like, you know, they do the 3840s and they do the, you know, 40, 45-ish, you know. And so this is typically a 50 millimeter watch. They did it in the mid-size, and I love it when I want, because it's such a cool watch to look at. Even if you don't like the ice, even if it's just stainless steel, like you have just that case and cradle design. It's just a remarkable design. Amazing, $99. It really is unbelievable to me that you can buy. It's great to have, like, I have $800 watches, $2,000 watches. Oceaniva, you guys know I'm a big Oceaniva affiliate partner. They're great, don't get me wrong, but this is incredible for $99 that you can get that. So while we're on that subject, let's go with the black one. Same thing, but with black abalone. Sorry, not black abalone. So I get this to focus here. Come on, baby. What is going on here? There we go. Got the abalone. I'm always just amazed. I just really am. I mean, again, for you folks, we got 11 people now. It's awesome. Thank you for joining. We're going over the state of the Invicta collection. Just to kind of recap, if you just joined, I have about 46 Invictas right now. I have about 50 in my collection out of 500 or so watches. So, I mean, anybody who is going to knock this brand, and I can't speak on every watch they make, because I've said there are Invictas and there are Invictas, right? But these are incredible quality. Anybody who gets one, the guys who knock this are just they're following suit with the guys who they're just selling an attitude about the brand, because that is what, unfortunately, in this watch world of snobs and pompous scumbags we have, these sloths we have in this world that get on Reddit and talk crap about these brands. They're just weak-minded people. They're just weak. They can't look at a watch. God forbid an honest guy on a YouTube successful watch review channel go look at this and say, hey, that's not my style, but man, $99, that's absolutely incredible. 316 stainless steel, middle class, actual black spinel, real abalone on the face, a Ronda movement, which is a quartz movement. But yeah, would I prefer a TMI automatic in this? Absolutely. I prefer automatics, but it's still a great movement. It's still super accurate. Like, what more do you want? The design, I mean, it's quite remarkable. Watches like this will always impress me more than expensive watches, because I just don't know. They must make pennies on these. They must make a couple bucks. I wish I could see like their financials, because they really deal in volume, right? So I'm just gonna pause for a second. New Kyle is always on here. Demond, I think I'm saying that right. I don't recognize that name. And Active Adam, I've never recognized that name. Sorry, I'm reading at the same time. So I will read the comments as well. He just said, hi, watchmaker here. I have Invicta from 2005 because they are a client of our works. Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean. I don't know what that comment means. Maybe you can elaborate a little more. I'll continue on. So another watch here. This one here, super polarizing watch. A watch that, in the watch world of snobs, they always are really, I'm not kind of come across Mr. Tough Guy. I keep my nose clean for the most part. But, they act like you're going to wear something like this and people are, nobody's ever said shit to me. Ever. So it's not, and I'm not trying to be Mr. Wes Watson here and call somebody out to come find me and talk shit. Like what you like. Oh, Jeff Pop. What up, man? What's up, James? But honestly, people don't do that. People just, for the most part, when you're out and about, if you're wearing a big watch like this, most people have come to me and be like, dude, that's a crazy watch. It doesn't mean that they love it. It doesn't mean that they hate it. It doesn't mean they want to buy it or make fun of it. They just are admiring that it's just huge. They might say to their girlfriend when they leave, God, things ridiculous. And I get it. It is a big watch. And some folks might think it is ridiculous. I like it. And lots of people like it. I don't really care if somebody finds it ridiculous. Don't wear it if you don't like it. But I wish people could just look at what the bang for buck you get. I mean, this is what a great creation. Look at this sucker, 30 millimeters in thickness, gigantic flame fusion crystal. It is, I think, one of the thickest watches, definitely the thickest watch in my collection, probably one of the thickest watches ever made. My only gripe about this, I chose the gold, and I wish I would have got the blackface version. And I wish I would have they made this, and I lost out. I was like $100. The all gold version with the black face. And I just didn't get it. I don't know why, but this is just a tank of a watch. And It's so big. I mean, it's just so you guys have a perspective. This Grand Diver is not small either. 47 millimeter. I mean, look at it. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Let me get this. I guess what the real difference is the thickness. That's the real difference. But what a cool piece. I mean, and this is why I love these older Invictus, because they don't, nobody makes anything like this anymore, right? And things do go in trends, right? Maybe big watches will come back. I feel like they're still there, of course, but not like, I feel like there was I don't know whether it had to do with Invicta not marketing with influencers and Shop HQ anymore. But the thing is, like, even for me, because there's a point at which when you're collecting, you have so many watches. James still buys me watches, right? James will buy me a watch every now and then, like for Christmas or something like that. And I'm always excited to get it. It's always something a brand I didn't have, which is cool. But there is a point when you have like this is not a big Invicta collection, but as a collection as a whole, I have a lot, right? There is a point where even I feel like it's wasteful, and it's just, you can't wear them all, So, but it is fun to crack them out and look at them. And even when I do sell a watch, like I sold one of my Grand Octanes, I always look back and say, should I have sold that? But it just wasn't getting worn. And there's a point at which sometimes you just have to take something that you're not really in love with anymore. And I don't mean, I love people, right? I'm just using that as an expression. But those you let things go to get something else you might wear more and enjoy more, or just add something new to the collection. So I guess if we're all filthy rich, you don't have to worry about that. But I'm not. I'm a working guy. And so, sometimes it's just, I will make a decision. Hey, it's wasteful to keep. I want to get something else. So, but great piece. Awesome piece. I was going to catch up on comments here because Active Adam, again, thank you all for joining. He just commented. He says, I like Invictus with SW200 movements, but those Swiss automatics do have the non-Swiss SW1 or 2. It means they have a very thin gear, so they can have long-term issues for a few hundred. I disagree. I don't think you're going to have any issues long-term with any of these watches. I really don't. And just so you guys have, and that's coming from a watchmaker. I get it on paper. Absolutely. But you can have good and bad luck with anything. And I'm telling you right now, all these watches are over a decade. Most of these are over a decade old. I got most of these Invictas, and there's a different timeline here. Like, obviously, this one here, I got back in like 2013. This is over a decade old. Still works fine. Some of the other newer ones like this, like this Grand Diver, a couple years, if even that. But a lot of these, these Sea Hunters we're going to get to, decade old. And people have told me with years, they don't last long. It's like they're still working. Some are on the original battery because I put them in the number 2 position to save 7% of the battery. So you get good and bad luck with anything. And coming from a watch maker, like, he might have a different, obviously watchmakers can have a different perspective. They're going to be a little more nitpicky. Watches like this, I have here, all right? At the end of the day, here's some Values, here's some Solitas, some Oceanivas, Aqua Dive, ETA movement. At the end of the day, all these watches, they all tell time. They all tell time reasonably well, and I have watches that are like, I have an old Timex from my grandfather. It's over 50, 60 years old. A regular working guy's watch, automatic, it still works. So I just don't think, I think the worry about having to get a good movement is just really, it's what to do about nothing. You know what I mean? It really doesn't matter. Again, watch buying is personal, so always buy. If it makes you feel better to spend more money on a Solita, by all means, buy a Solita. But I don't worry about that. I own a Solita because at one point I was like, I really want to have one in my collection just to have it. But I got mine for free. Let me tell you right now, if any of these Invictus, like if this Grand Diver that we first started with was available in a Solita or the NH35 this has, but I had to pay $300 more for the Solita, there's not a doubt in my mind I would go with the NH35 because it's just not worth it for me to spend the extra money on something I don't think is ever going to cause me a problem. And then for $100, if this movement dies, I can take it somewhere and slap an NH35 in it for probably less than $100. I could probably do it myself because they're not that complicated. So I just don't worry about stuff like that. But And again, I'm not knocking your perspective. I'm not knocking wanting a Salida or any other watch brand. I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't really worry about it. So, and I think all these Invictas, I don't have any Salidas. The only automatic Invictas I have are going to use the NH35. The rest have like Rondas, but their quartz, they tell time better than any automatic movement. They're all great. There's, in my opinion, a quartz is a superior machine compared to an automatic movement, but I will always want an automatic over a quartz. But this is what these were available in, and I like the watch enough that the movement didn't matter to me. So, all right, let me catch up a little more. James, thank you for joining, man. I hope you guys all stick around. Hunter Johnson, I love Invicta, but I lean to smaller watches. My favorite one is from my two object. They are Illumida, butcher all these things. Lab diamond bezels. Yeah, man, I like the small ones too. Don't get me wrong. I like them all. Totally to each their own. I said earlier in the video, I wish Invicta made more of, these amazing designs in midsize. They would attract a whole new group of people, because a watch like this, you can look at the design. I think the problem with Invicta, why they're so polarized, people look at the watches we're going to get to. It's going to take us forever, but we're going to get there and say, oh my God, no way. And they can't even get past the size. And if they just took these watches and made them smaller, make the full size, make the smaller one. Those folks would then say, wow, this quality is pretty amazing for $99. And then they would give the brand a chance, and they would get a lot more customers. But what do I know? Let's see here. Active said, I like the Invictus. I already read that. Kyle said, dude, the Wes Watson saga of the last few years was the most entertaining thing online. I'm actually sad he's in jail because we aren't getting new content about him. I don't know, man. I think some of the people making content about him should thank him. They should really thank him. I'm not into that alpha male bullshit. I'm not into those. I don't need somebody to give me advice on how to live. I kind of walk my own path like most men do, right? And I do think that part of being a man is to be, humble. This is my thing, right? I tend to be humble, but then again, I'm a regular average guy. But I can tell you right now, if I was filthy rich tomorrow, I would still be very humble. Does it feel good? Like when my cars are all older, but people look at them, they're like, oh, wow, what does he do? Sometimes, not everybody. Right? If you know about cars, it's very, they're old cars. But it's always nice for people to acknowledge you and recognize your style. But I always like the recognition of style, not necessarily the recognition of having money, because I'm just like anybody else working to survive like the rest of us. And so if I was filthy rich, I would definitely be generous for folks who deserve it, who I would deem deserve it. You get met, because in today's day and age, people are just garbage. You can barely get a hello or a thank you nowadays going to buy something somewhere. So for those folks who really go above and beyond, who really are great, I would really reward kindly, But we look at some of these shows where these women nowadays are talking about, like, well, my man needs to make 300,000. I'm a 10. It's like, I don't even want any part of that. But those guys should say thank you, because a lot of guys made a lot of money on YouTube and started YouTube channels just knocking him, and I get it. He deserved it. He's an awful human being. What he should do is come out and just lie now and say, yep, it was all just an act. But anyway, I don't wish him well. I don't wish him hate. I don't care. Let's see. Active Adam, he says he owns the watches. He owns those watches, about 200 of those giant ones. And he loves them. I don't know who you're directing that towards. And then he also said, I'm not knocking them. I'm sharing what's inside them. No, yeah, dude, I'm not like being combative with you. I'm just giving you my opinions, just like you're giving your opinions. I don't give a shit about the gears in a watch, because it'd be one thing if every NH35 I had after 10 years was all breaking, right? But I have watches that are no-name brand shit movements that are 2 decades old that still work. So, these are not overly complicated things. And so I just don't see the point in spending a lot of money. If it's a watch you really like and that's what it costs, buy what makes you happy. But I will never be the guy who will rationalize buying a Salida because of longevity, because at the end of the day, you can have good and bad luck with anything. They're not subject to a lot of friction, a lot of like pressure or anything like that. They're relatively simple. James actually was a watch guy, so he'll tell you. All right, what else we got? And Anton. Sorry, guys. I really missed the big watch era. I still love them. Yeah, me too, man. And that's why I wanted to. Let me move on here and share. We'll come back. Hang on, my throat's getting a little dry here. All right, so moving right on. I'm going to jump right into another mid-size. Again, perfect example, the Gladiator. Female edition, again. Why they market it, Invicta should really look at who they have working there. Why would you call this a female watch? It's not. It's a unisex watch, and I love it. And the Gladiator, I never had the full-size Gladiator, but when they did the two, you guys know I like the two-tone rose and yellow. Whatever watch brand does a two-tone rose and yellow, I'm always drawn to it. I love that kind of contrast. And I didn't have a Gladiator, and this, again, was like $99. Incredible watch. I got some kind of food. This is kind of gross. Get a scrub here. There we go. It's all good. Anyway, just an awesome piece. And, this is still very gaudy with the chains and all that stuff. But still, a guy might say, hey, you know what? It's just too big in the standard Gladiator, mid-size. It's just an awesome piece, which is why I bought it. I didn't want the full-size Gladiator, but when I saw it I don't know, there's something about the smaller designs that are just, they're more wearable than the giant 50 millimeter watches. It's too bad because watches like this, I think they still make the Gladiator, but don't quote me on that. I mean, still just an incredible piece. I mean, you get all the looks, all the pizzazz, all the interesting artistic design, just not with a huge watch. And a lot of folks would wear these who just like the artistic design. They just can't get past the size. So I don't know, whatever. Invicta's not going to listen to anybody. So, all right, so let's move on now to a beast. Again, probably one of my favorite watches. This is one of the Shaq collaborations. Invicta did, you guys know this, but Invicta did collaborations with Jason Taylor and Shaq. Didn't buy it for that reason. Shaq seems like a really nice, humble guy. I bought this because I love the way it looks. It's so big. This is like 60 plus millimeter. I don't know. Let's see exactly what it is. This is what like 65. If we go side of case to crown, is just a beast. And you can't find these. And so I am glad I got two different colors. I wish I would got the stainless steel one too, but it is just a tank. And so the Sea Hunter is a really big watch too, which we will get to. But this, because it has a thinner bezel, it's more face and less case. It looks so big. It is such a beast. And what I really like about this, I kind of call this a hybrid homage almost. It's got the case from a Patek Philippe Nautilus. I think that's the one. Or is it the AP? AP. Ooh, I should know this. I think the AP Nautilus. You guys know the Nautilus. It's got that shape. It's kind of got that case, but then they copied the Jacob & Company multiple time zone style, which to me, I'm not going to go into that whole story, but a very sentimental era in my life. I love the Jacob watches. I remember when they first came out, I was a young guy clubbing, and so I was wearing those Jacobs. Those 5 time zone watches were iconic, and they did real diamonds on each time zone, just in a massive chunk of a watch. Look at the size of that thing. Absolutely massive. And I have to tell you, I mean, as much as I love these big watches, and I still do wear them, you do get desensitized. When I was wearing this stuff like all the time, no smaller watches, I would wear this and be like, oh, no big deal. Now I put this on, and I'm going to say it. I do feel a little clownish wearing it. I have to say it. I do, because I'm not used to it. It is just so big. It's so, like, gaudy and ridiculous, but I love it. There's something when I wear this thing, I feel like I have my camera's over here and the screen's over there. I'm just looking at myself. It is just a tank. Talk about wrist presence, and this is what watches collecting is all about. The fun in wearing this, and there's not a time that I don't wear this, and I'm like, usually it's at a casino or a restaurant or something like that. And just, you're hitting the button and you can just see people's eyes like staring at it. It's a beautiful piece, which is why I had to get it in the gold. You know I had to get it in the gold. But then the black, you know, absolutely. I've said this many times with watches, and you guys will hear me repeat myself all the time, but I think the batteries are all dead. I don't even care about the batteries. I don't even care about it telling time. This is all dead, and I still just wear it because it's a piece of jewelry. But I said many times when it comes to a black watch, like you have to have something that kind of sets it apart because then it just looks like a plain old G-Shock. This one here, the size, the diamonds, the multiple time zone, the gold accents. What a piece. And these, like, you're not going to find these on eBay anymore. Like black mother of pearl. You're just not going to find them. And this is why, like, when I say supply and demand, like these watches, like anybody who says like Invicta has no value, like, yeah, they may not have like, and I don't believe in investing in watches either. You know, like I think you can absolutely buy a Rolex and have it become worth something, and you can also lose money on it. Anybody who thinks you can buy brand X and make money is out of their mind. I really don't believe you can do that. Unless how you're making money is you're taking advantage of somebody else who's down on their luck. Anybody who has something and says, oh, like for me, this watch here, I'm like, oh man, this watch here, it's worth $300, right? I think I paid about $280 for it, right? Oh, it's worth $280. I'd say it is worth $280, right? But then somebody, let's say I'm really hard up on money, and it's not. Sometimes I'll put a watch on eBay or whatever. I'm trying to get rid of it, and it'll sit there for a year. Just because I say something's worth something doesn't mean it is. And if I'm really down on my luck and I'm really desperate to sell it, I may take less. And so if I'm not willing to wait on the right buyer, then it's not going to make me money. So some guys are willing to say, hey, and especially when you're looking at big ticket items, 300, you know, most people can afford that. When you look at a watch, let's say this watch was a $10,000 watch, and I'm like, well, it's a $10,000 watch, but I need money tomorrow. I might be willing to sell this for $8 and take a loss in order to sell to somebody who's willing to wait on it. And then that guy can maybe sell it for 10 and make money. The only way you make money on anything is buying low and selling high. And if you have to buy low from somebody, ultimately somebody is losing. You know, the guy, you may make money selling the watch and say, oh, I can make money selling watches, but somebody lost money selling watch. So for you to make money. So that's how it works with the pre-owned market. All right. Let's hit another black watch, another amazing watch in my collection. Probably one of my favorites. Again, we're coming back to the Sub-Aqua Specialty, mid-size, black spinel, full size. And so this one is a high gloss version. And this is the matte finish. And this has got all black spinel. I have always wanted a fully iced out black watch. I have yet to find one that's affordable. I'm not going to spend $10,000 on a watch. I'm just not going to do it. It just wouldn't bring me that much enjoyment. If I won the Powerball, absolutely. But if I could just piss money away, but that's not happening. So with this gives me that black look with a full, nice iced out black spinel bezel, that nice kind of black skeletonized mother of pearl face. And I'm really glad I got this because this sucker is gone, and I don't think you're gonna find this. You might find one, eBay. You never know what's gonna pop up on there, but very hard to get. And again, the Sub-Aqua Specialty, the black spinel, is it's a watch I absolutely love. This one here, I think, was another gift from one of my birthdays from my folks. Yellow and black. The spinel really stands out on this. And then, now I got this one, and I know fire is right, man. Ian, what up, man? Black, yeah, black looks good too. They all look good. I mean, they're really cool watches. This one came on special. Like sometimes Invicta did that. They would come out with a watch. Yes, humble. They come out with a watch. I'm not sure what you mean, Active Adam, humble. They'll come out with a watch. Like when I got the gold version, if they had the all gold, I would have got that one. But the gold and black was what they had. And then a couple years later, they came out with this one, black mother of pearl, mirror polished, all gold with that black spinel. And this thing was like, I think this was like $200. It was like super cheap. So let's see here. Let me just catch my comments. James, Jif Pop James just said that watch so sweet. It really is. Black looks better from Igor. Black looks better. Ian, fire. Active. Adam just said humble. I'm not sure what he means by question mark, if he's asking me something or not. Hunter Johnson just said, I wanted to get the black, but was nervous the black would wear off. I'll come to that. And then Igor just said, truly humble. Not sure what he means. I'm not sure if you're saying that I'm not truly humble or if somebody should be truly humble. Not sure. But when you guys drop a comment, the clarification is kind of important, so I don't have to come back to it. But anyway, so I was going to touch on this too when it comes to finish. And I didn't say it, but I was thinking it when I talked about this one here, the standard. Let me just kind of polish this up here a little bit, get the smudges off it. So I don't know what Invicta uses for their plating techniques, but like this watch, mirror polished, right, is on black, is you're going to see it. I don't know what the heck they're doing. It's almost like a ceramic finish, and it's not ceramic, but this does not have any scratches in it. Like my stainless steel watches have more scratches than this, and I have worn this one a lot. No wearing of any finishes, no scratches. Same thing with the black one here, the JT. Let me just kind of, you guys probably can't see this perfectly, but I'm telling you, like there's not one scuff in this watch. And this one is definitely, 7 years old, I think. And it's one of the ones I wear a lot, So I just, and same thing with the gold. Like there's no gold wearing off. Usually I find that like mirror polishing you're always going to scratch it. So I don't know why. And that to be said with gold finish, that could be said with like I'll show you this one here. You can see this one definitely has a little bit of scuffs on it, but you may not be able to see this, but it's got some scuffs in it. I don't know. Invicta definitely does some great plating with their watches because you're like I said, you always get some kind of fine scratches, but I have not. And the black watches are always surprised me because I expected those to kind of get beat up. They look better than anything else, which is really surprising to me. All right, so let me get this a little closer here. All right, let's crack into these here. So what do we got here? This is a pretty new one for me. This is a aquaplated. Well, let me just do this. Kind of prop this up a little. We'll start with the aquaplated Venom watch. My very first Invicta stainless steel Venom watch. I remember, give you my story here, when I saw this watch and I read it was 22 millimeters thick. I was like, that's almost an inch. That can't be right. I had no idea, based on the picture, how big this watch was. And this was the very first time that I fell in love with the brand Invicta. I remember getting this and saying, because normally it was always about like the iced out Jacobs, right? You had to have the diamond crystal bezel, whatever. 47 millimeter. I saw this was 52, and I was like, that can't be right. Like, where has this baby been hiding my whole life? And I got it. I think I paid $330 for it, and I just could not believe it when I got it. Because I always thought $300 for a watch was like a lot. I was like, oh, no, I could never spend that. And I treated myself to this. And I just couldn't believe it when I got it, how big it was, how thick it was, the design. One of the best creations Invicta ever did was the Venom watch. And, it's just what is annoying for me is like, I don't know if they have kind of reused the name Venom on anything else, but this is a Venom. This is a Venom. There's been kind of the flankers, the Venom 2, the hybrids, which great, but this is the original Venom, and it is by far just an amazing, amazing creation. One of these days I will pick up a mid-size Venom if I can find one, the female version. I know my coworker ended up getting one. I have a video of that on YouTube. I think she got a gold one, if I remember correctly. And it's great because, I don't always wear the big watches. So, again, Venom number 1. Then, of course, we'll just go right to the gold version. This one here, all mirror polished. This watch here, pretty old, and this one does have some scratches in it, but not many. Considered a mirror polished watch, they're probably not coming across on camera, but this one has the rose tone bezel. Now, I did order this watch on a pre-owned on eBay, and I have a video up. It's like one of my number 2 Invicta videos. It got hundreds of thousands of views. It was the Invicta Watch Nightmare I got from Invicta Outlet at the time on eBay. And he sent me a watch that was totally defective. The band was off, didn't disclose any of it. I got my money back, but The only difference was it had rose tone going down the center, the dual yellow and rose tone. It was just a beautiful watch. It was unfortunate. I had to send it back and because it was unfixable. And it's a watch I've never seen become available again. And so at least I got this. I kind of toyed with the idea of maybe finding some rose tone links, but it's a very subtle difference. And is that this watch I got for like $130. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's why they're bankrupt. Because I don't know how you can make any money. I mean, put this up against any watch. My God, that's gorgeous. Let's see if the battery still works. No battery dead in this one here. It ought to be after all that time. But again, make the argument with me. These luxury guys can never make the argument. They can never. They're just like, oh, Invicta sucks. Never like, most of a watch is, what is it made out of? 316 stainless steel. Just go down the checkbox. 316 stainless steel. That's going to be number one, If we consider like, if we go, okay, what kind of movement? Ronda. It's a quartz, more accurate than any automatic. Great. Okay. Would I prefer automatic? Yes, I'm with you. I got it. But it's still a great movement. Still tells time, still works well. After that, what kind of crystal? Invicta uses flame fusion. It's not like it's not sapphire, but it's not like it's not scratch resistant, Again, check out Ben's Watch Club. He did a scratch test with all the different crystals. Sapphire, of course, is number one, but flame fusion came in 2 spots beneath that. Still very scratch resistant. What more do you need, After that, I'm not going to talk about design, but, because that's going to be a subjective thing. But after that, screw-on case back. All 316 stainless steel. Fit and finishing. I mean, this is something we don't even have to argue about nowadays. We're in modern machining. You couldn't have done this 30 years ago. Absolutely, that was a valid argument. Nowadays, not the case. Lines up perfectly. Fit is tight. Look at this. There's no minimal play. I mean, no gaps. Like, everything is perfect. Bezel action. I'm telling you, bezel action as good as any $2,000 watch I've ever turned. Better, just as good as any Rolex I've ever turned. And then some of that can be subjective, but it's great. Nice smooth crown, nice smooth function pushers. I mean, what milled clasp. I mean, what more do you want? Like, I will never understand the argument where some guys are saying that these watches are garbage. I really don't. I don't get it. And I could see like if somebody's like, oh, well, it's Phatkat. You've never held good watches. I have them right here. Like, I don't know. All right. So moving on. I wanted an all white version. I was looking for white ceramic. Since this watch I have got white ceramic, but this one I got again as a Christmas gift. This I don't know about durability of this because it's almost like a chalky kind of. This is their aquaplating, and I don't know how durable aquaplating is. I feel like aquaplating is when they dip it. Again, maybe it's very durable, but I'm kind of careful with this one. And I will say this is a beautiful looking watch, but it is not a comfortable watch. This watch, for whatever reason, the other Venoms don't do it. It digs into my ulna really bad. And I just don't know if it's because the clasp is a little different, like the sizing on this. I just don't think I can get it to the proper fit where it just kind of fits right. The other ones, perfectly comfortable. As soon as I put this on, I'm like, I can't wear that very long. And this is the only Invicta I'll say that about. But nevertheless, it was only like $100. I mean, it was a gift, but still, I just unbelievable. Let's see, battery still working this? No, I think the battery's dead. No, the battery still works. So always pull your crown to number 2. You'll save the battery life, especially with Ronda movements. They save 70% of the power. Now, some guys are like, oh, you're going to get dust in there. I'm not saying go out and work in a field with it or go out and, work your job with the crown out or go swimming. But in a nice wash box, you'll be fine. There's still seals in there. You're not going to get dust in there. All right, let me catch them on comments here. So we addressed the black wearing off. Igor, nobody clarified here. The black and gold is a great one. I've never seen it till now. Adrian, what up, man? He just said, Phatkat doing the live stream again. Outstanding. Miss these days. Cheers from New Zealand. Yes, sir. I try to do them, when I'm on vacation now. So I have a little time to kill. I've been very productive, as I always am with this vacation. Watch is humble, a good-looking beast for me. Oh yeah, no, I get it. The watch is not humble-looking at all. And then Bezel Walsh just said, "I've always enjoyed the Venom range." Me too. And then Hunter just said, "Do you have a Gladiator?" I've been looking for a silver Gladiator. No, but I have the mid-size Gladiator. Maybe you missed this one. I just showed this one a few minutes ago. You probably just popped on. Mid-size Gladiator. It's the only Gladiator I have, but I have reviewed the Gladiator when I was working with Bulldog Enterprise. He's no longer in business, to the best of my knowledge. On eBay, he would send me boxes of Invictas. I'd review them and then send them back. So I do have a video up. You just have to kind of search Phatkat Gladiator. You'll find it. And then let's see here. Kyle, taking any trips for vacation? Nope, my vacations are always stay at home. I take the folks out. We hit up the casinos. Go out to eat, and then I always have stuff to do, whether I detailed my dad's car, gave him a full detail on it. I detail, my cars are never really, two of my cars sit in the garage all year. And then the other ones, they're never really dirty, so, but they always need a little wax, a little attention. So did that. What else did I do? One of my vehicles, my power steering went out. I fixed that. So I'm always just doing something. I'm always trying to kind of like playing catch up. So, but vacation is just a change of pace for me. Not having to work, not having to punch a clock. I'm happy just dinking around, laying in the sun, smoking cigars, hitting the weights, which I always do anyway. But all right, so moving on here, let's jump into another beautiful sub-aqua specialty. You guys know I like the sub-aqua specialty. This is the mirror polish. This thing was $130. I call this the caviar edition, mirror polished, all yellow gold with that. Now, these aren't individual stones. It's just one glass. I think it's a glass bezel insert, but it's kind of cut to make it look like it's baguette stones with the face kind of the same thing. So very interesting watch. Invicta never came out with this again. They did it in silver. Should have got it. $130, NH35 movement. What a killer piece. I mean, unbelievable watch. And again, love the NH35. Don't have to worry about battery. It's always ready to go. If I could, change one thing about all these watches, it would be that they were all NH35 movements. But, they only made them in most of these. They made only, I'm sure they made variations, but like these specific models were only available with the Rondas. So that's what I got. But another amazing watch. Bezel just said, damn, I have to spend more time buying Invictus. Yeah, I don't know what you would find. I'm going back and kind of like, since Invicta Store has changed their affiliate program, I do not link to Invicta stores anymore. And even if I did, you wouldn't find these on there anyway. So I'm linking to eBay now. Any of these watches, I have full reviews. You'll just have to go to YouTube when this is all over. Phatkat Collections, Invicta Sub-Aqua Specialty. You can find them if you are using long tail keywords. Otherwise, you just search for Invicta, like forget it, like it's lost. All right, so now my very first sub-aqua specialty, one I've kind of debated on selling just because I have so many of them, but rose tone and gold, just a simple rose tone bezel, all yellow gold, battery dead in this, of course. This one here is over a decade old. But this is kind of like, I consider this like my beater sub-aqua specialty. Like when I want just something without any stones, just basic. Who am I kidding? I ain't never going to sell that thing. So dope. Oh my God. This is, this kind of reminds me of what I have. And, because you forget, you forget and you don't appreciate it. And then when you come back and you see how lucky you are to have all this stuff, it's pretty cool, to be able to afford to buy these things. And I'm not, like I said, I'm just a regular dude. Ain't nobody giving me no handouts. All right, so another amazing watch, the Sub-Aqua Noma 5. And you're gonna hear me repeat a lot. This is my favorite. It's hard to choose favorites, but I love this watch. And I remember the first time I saw this watch, not this particular one. Let me go with this one, the COSC certified version. Now I don't know how they got away with saying that, whether that's true or not, but this is an ETA movement in this one here. but it's a quartz. So supposedly it's a COS certified quartz with an ETA movement. Get the focus here. It's weird with these watches. I kind of like getting nostalgic when I even look at them again. Because I remember when I saw this watch, I remember a guy had the silver version with the blue bezel. And I can almost see myself going to Evine, like right now, like looking it up. And he did a review, this guy in a wife beater did a review just, and this is where I kind of thank him for this. I saw him do the review and I was like, that was really helpful because he showed you the watch on the wrist and he was sitting at a table just in a wife beater, just on the wrist talking about it. And you could see it during the whole video, which I wish I had more of a different setup where I can film it that way. If I put the camera over here, it's getting light reflection. So this is like all I can really do, but he just always had his arms up like this, kind of went on the table and he was talking about it and just kind of doing the review. And I just was hypnotized by it. And I was like, dude, that thing is killer. And this was more expensive. These were like in the $400 or $500 price range back then. I ended up getting mine for $330 when I caught it on sale. But what an incredible watch. Like I think Invicta won some kind of awards. You guys have told me numerous times, I keep forgetting, for these function pushers and how they work, the butterfly tabs, how they extend and retract. Just an incredible design. I mean, it is just absolutely one of my favorite watches. And I think, 50 millimeters is kind of a sweet spot for a big watch without being, it doesn't quite get to the ridiculous point, What a great piece. I mean, the Noma 5, it really is something. I mean, and again, I wish they made this one in a mid-size as well. But 50 millimeter, I still think very wearable, All right, let me come back to the gold version here. And you folks, you guys know, like I like, usually when I get a watch that I like in silver, at some point I'm like, I got to get it in gold. So, which is what happened with like the Bull of a Precisionist. I got it in silver. And then I'll see, maybe it'll come out in gold. Like this, if it was 500, I wouldn't have got it. But I think this came on special for like $219. And had to get it. And I'm really glad I did because you are not going to find these. The gold is just so sick. The blue, it's a really deep blue face. Check that out. Man. Battery dead in this. This one's got the retrograde date, which is pretty cool. What would I change on this watch? Red face on gold. I don't have any red face on gold, and that'd be killer. Aragon made one a while back that I got my hands on due to a review agreement, and I forget which one it was, but it was red face and gold, and I was like, I might keep this one. I kind of regret not keeping it, but again, it would sit in the box most of the time anyway, but it is a nice color combination, red and gold. All right, so now my most expensive Invicta that I ever overpaid for, and this is when I didn't have these other black watches, so I wanted something with ice, and I wanted black, and I got my hands on the Bolt Zeus. What a creation. I mean, this one here, real diamonds around the bezel, very small diamonds, but it's got them. Diamond accents on the indices, all black. This one doesn't get worn a lot, but not a scratch. All mirror polished. I just really, one of Invicta's best creations. Again, very nostalgic. I remember when watching Home Shopping Network or whatever it was and seeing this and saying, and I'll show you the gold and silver too. That wasn't my first one, but seeing this and being like, that's got to be the next one. I think it was the next one. It was this one right here, the all silver version. Zeus Bolt, just a great creation. All the wires. I mean, a beast of a watch. A beast. Now, I will say this one here did fail me. It's the only Invicta. Well, I do have that grand diver I mentioned. I did get a factory defect. The back is cross-threaded and I got a little moisture in it. But every other one's fine. This is the only one where one of the dials, the hand fell off. It's kind of floating around. So now I still wear it. I just kind of let it flop around in there. And it'd be pretty easy fix. And maybe one day I'll bring it in somewhere and have somebody fix it. But this one I wouldn't take apart myself. But it doesn't bother me enough. I just leave it floating around in there. And it's just, it might sound ridiculous to have a watch and not actually care about telling the time. But, it's unfortunate to happen. But it's the only Invicta that had a problem like that. Quality control is pretty darn good on their brand. And then, of course, you know I had to get the rose tone and gold with that brown mother of pearl face. What a killer watch. Let me throw that. I'll throw this one on the wrist here. I kind of catch my comments here. Bezel, like I said, he's going to go shopping tonight. Use my link. I'll put the link in the description. Every little bit helps, folks. Come on, man. Don't be cheap. All right. Battery's still working this one. Let me see. Yep. Battery's still working this. And what's cool about this watch, too, is that one of the, I don't know if you can see this. Hopefully you can. So one of the complications, instead of having a hand, look over here. It's got a gear. They put a gear, a fake gear, instead of a hand. So the gear is rotating, and it looks so cool. Original battery. I don't know when I'm pretty sure I got this sucker at least 8 years ago. At least 8 years ago, and the battery still works. If you go to Ronda's website and you look at the Ronda movements, it'll tell you, move the crown to the number 2 position. You will save 70% of your battery life. So that's what I do, and you get a long time out of them. Let me see if this one works. Battery still works in this one too. This one here, over a decade old. Unbelievable. Oh my God. I'm going to have to speed this along here. I got things to do, guys. All right, let's move on. We're gonna move it along a little quicker now. All right, so we went through a lot of my favorites. Now let me jump over to some of the big watches. So here we have there's a couple hybrids mixed in here, but we have the Sea Hunters and the Grand Octanes. The Grand Octane, let me do this. The Grand Octane or Grand Arsenal, depending on when and where you bought it, these are the biggest watches Invicta made, right? For the most part. You can always find those kind of one-off, the 5 time zone Jacob versions. Yeah, but these are the ones, the beasts. And these are just super fun. They will not get worn very much, but I do get offers all the time by folks to buy the Sea Hunters. You can't find these anymore. You might find a few on eBay, but all right, let me just move on. So all gold Sea Hunter, a beast of a watch, just a tank. I mean, you wear this, forget it. You're getting fatigued. I mean, 70 millimeters all the way to crown guard. And again, surprising. I'm just going to keep this out because I have the crown pulled here. But let me see if it's on the original battery life. Battery still works. All right, so I got this watch. I don't want it to flop around here. We'll just go like that. I got this watch in 2016. So this watch is 10 years old. So let me just kind of do the math. So yeah, so most of these watches are well over 10 years. Probably going back to 2013, between 2012 and 2016-ish is when I got most of my Invictas. So for those folks, those namesayers who were like, oh, Invictas, they're not going to last you a month. I beg to differ. Their quality's amazing. The build's great. The looks are awesome. That is subjective, but you can't beat the quality. I mean, you're on par quality. I'm not saying like you can't beat. Like lots of brands can hang with them. Some brands have a little more, like Oceaniva, more quality, right? But not where you pick up the Oceaniva and the Invicta and say, oh man, I see the difference. It's not like that, okay? But this watch I got in 2016, which means the other ones, most of these other ones are older. Unbelievable. Original battery life, 10 years. And the reason I know this is because I was dating a chick at the time who we ended up taking a Vegas trip together, and I bought this for the Vegas trip. And, I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, so let me pull the crown out on this one. Yeah, this guy, Captain just said, I used to love Invicta, and they used to be great, but the recent designs sucked to me. Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm with you, man. I think they're new designs. Like, I don't know who they have working for them, but it's like they just stopped. It's like now when folks are like, Invicta sucks, I'm kind of like, man, there's some truth to that. Like, I look at their website and I don't see anything that other than that white one. That white one, I really got my eye on. Though I think it's an S1. But it's all white, it's automatic, and it's got the carbon, but it's got the in, you know, like, you know how Carl, I mentioned it earlier, like compound bows or like gun stocks, you have that laminated kind of wood, you have different colors. It has a bezel that looks like that. It's a carbon lamination. And so it's got like a combination. The one I like is either the neon green or the orange. And it's got the white carbon bezel that has that kind of infused. Awesome, right? But it's still like, it's only like $150. I think you can get it on sale for less. That's the only one I've seen that really calls me. Before that, yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, the Grand Diver, yeah, this one definitely calls me. The white version. There's always going to be a few Invictas I find that I want to pick up, but not many. Not many. Let me see. This battery I think is dead. No, oh my God, it still works. Crazy. So this one never gets worn. Probably one I wouldn't have bought. I mean, it was just so unique. The abalone, the iridescent finish. Really glad I have it. It is one that I've kind of contemplated letting go, but I probably won't. Just because for what I'd want for it, people are like, I'm not going to pay that, and I'm not willing to sell it for less. But a great watch. I almost wore this the other day. When I really want something that is just straight, like, holy shit, this is the one I wear. Darren Bell sits on sale for $99. Which, oh, you mean the ruby bezel one? Yeah, they still have that. I've been eyeballing the green too. The green's pretty hot. All right, Bez. Thanks for being part of the stream, man. Catch you later. Appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. All silver. This one, I think, this one battery is definitely dead. My very first Sea Hunter. Actually, it's not true. My Sea Hunter, I did have so the first Sea Hunter I did sell. And so I had the original Sea Hunter. And this is where it gets confusing with the Sea Hunters. They did the Sea Hunter. You'll see this thing referred to Sea Hunter 3. That's because of me. That's the reason you'll find it on eBay, especially back then, maybe now, as Sea Hunter 3, is because the original Sea Hunter was nothing like the Sea Hunter. It was just a very basic, like silicone strap version. Had a big shark on the face. Then they came out with the second one. I did have that. That was the one that was comparable in size. Did not have same watch, same bracelet, different bezel. Had the rubber coated bezel. I had the baby blue mother of pearl with the rose tone links going down the center, and then no crown guard. Same function, pusher and crown, no crown guard. Then they came out with this version. So this was technically the 3. So I started calling it the Sea Hunter 3. Since then, they had the 4, the 5, but Invicta with their names, who knows what they're using the name Sea Hunter on now. So, but this one technically is a 3. I think it's the best Sea Hunter they ever created. Big, huge gear-edged bezel. Giant crown guard, which is awesome. And then I love the fact they did this decorative. It's a Ronda movement, it's an exhibition window, but they have that huge flame, the furnace blue, they call it, propeller. Love it. I wish they did that more on their watches. I think for putting an exhibition window on a quartz, normally we want to see the rotor. Love that they did a propeller. I think that design, I think it says so much about where Invicta was back then, making watches that look like this, attention to detail. Incredible. Oh, homeboy said carbon fiber on sale for $99. Don't tell me that. That's tempting. But I've been spending money at the casinos, and I'm on vacation. I take the folks out, dinner, all kinds of adds up. So probably not going to get that, but I want it. I do like it a lot, especially the green or the orange. I don't know which one I like more, the green or the orange. I'm gonna have to check that. I'm not gonna buy it, but it is pretty dope. All right, so moving on, another Sea Hunter. This one I definitely will. I may sell this. And this is what I just wanted to Sea Hunter. I got a deal on it. I don't remember what I paid, but Jason Taylor edition, different complications, but I wanted something in white. I got it. White and blue with that graphite. Very cool watch. Hardly been worn maybe a couple times. It's just a really, really unique piece. All right, so that's the Sea Hunters. Let me move on to another favorite. One that when these came out, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Mandy Lion. Surprised he hasn't popped on. Famous dude. Has the $600,000, one of the Richard Mille limited edition watches, something like that. Ended up getting one of these when they came out. And so he got the all stainless steel version, the Invicta Hybrid, Venom Hybrid, got this. Now, this one, I paid $2 something for this. And years later, that's the thing, supply and demand. Years later, he could have got that for a lot less. But during those home shopping times, some of these watches came out and they were selling out. So he got it. Still an amazing watch. Still works. Still loves it. But I had to get one. And so I don't know why they call this the Venom Hybrid. To me, this is more of a sub-aqua specialty hybrid. And because most of the watch is a sub-aqua specialty, we have the bracelet, sub-aqua specialty, like the ones I showed you earlier, the case and cradle design, sub-aqua specialty. Then we have the Venom 2 bezel, and they only did this bezel on the Venom 2, which I used to have and I sold. Love the bezel on this one here. And then they did the sub-aqua Noma 5 function pusher and crown. So realistically, most of the watch is a sub-aqua specialty, not a Venom, because this Venom bezel wasn't even on many Venom watches. Only a limited edition run of the Venom 2s. And so I think the branding on this, they named it wrong. They didn't use any common sense, but what a great piece. Rose tone and gold. I remember when this one came out, this thing was like $800, sold out, and then they re-released it under a different model number, and I got it dirt cheap. So I think one of my favorite Invictas as well. Look, just gold on gold. Absolutely love this piece. It is so gaudy. Master calendar complications. I mean, unbelievable piece. A watch I would never part with. It is just so cool. It is just such an interesting piece. Which brings me to the other Venom Hybrid. If I get this off. I will say, it is sometimes a little tough to get these off. Some of the bracelets are a little tight. As far as the clasp. So I just use this like a little piece of plastic or zip tie or something. Most of them aren't like that, but I just kind of pry it up, take it off, Such an awesome piece, man. I was pretty lucky to get some of these because, like I said, some of these were pretty expensive, and they just happen to have a sale, And I don't think any of these, they release any of these anymore. And of course, this is my very first Venom Hybrid. Let's see if it works. No, this one is dead. Same master calendar complication, but just done in yellow gold, all matte finish or brush finish, excuse me, with the blue face. What a creation, This is when Invicta was really thinking outside the box. I love when they did these hybrid kind of collaborations, where they merge different design aspects of different watches. I think those were the days of true Invicta. Now, these I want to go through a little quicker here. The Grand Octane. And I want to show you my first Grand Octane. Was my favorite Invicta, absolutely, which is why I kept buying them different colors. The all silver, big, bold, but not as uncomfortable as the Sea Hunter. It's just a little thinner, 19 millimeters as opposed to 23 in thickness. Love the design on this. I think it's one of their best creations. I wish I had it in a mid-size. I think they did make it in a mid-size. It's one of those watches that if they ever re-release it and I can get my hands on one, I would like the smaller version as well. Silver, very first one. I remember being in a job at one point, and when all my coworkers were collecting the Invictas, and I saw a guy walk in, and I was like, dude, I saw it on his wrist. He had this variation, and this one my ex-girlfriend got me, which is very generous of her. Not worn much at all. Kind of debated on selling this, but it is a little sentimental. And it is scratched a little bit here. This is where my leather jacket button did scratch the inside of that black, just probably wear and tear. So I guess I did wear it more than I thought I did. Black and silver got me that. Very nice. I mean, I got to tell you, I've dated my share of women, and they all come with issues. And they'd say the same thing about me. But I'm totally digressing here. But this girlfriend was pretty generous. She got me Lanois Delhomme. She got me this watch, the Aragon with the black spinel. I think she got me something else too. Very generous. You really can't fault her for the generosity. So anyway, so a guy came through wearing this watch, but without black, but he had the graphite. And I know that watch is about $500. And at the time I was like, there's no way I'm spending that. I'm not going to buy it. And then they made more of them. And then they started making all different colors and they started going on sale. So my first one, the silver one, I did pay $400 for that because I overpaid. And then as they made more colors, I got them cheaper. Some of these I got here, I'll just jump to here. probably my favorite one. The all yellow gold and silver mirror polished with the white accents, $136. I mean, I just, it's amazing. And that's, see, that's kind of where Invicta, I think, kind of messed up, you know? Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at this friggin' watch. Battery dead, of course. Oh my God. Talk about bling. That mirror polishing is just sick. This has been a lot of fun, folks. I'm actually having more fun than you guys are. Like a big child. All right. So what was I saying here? Oh, Invicta, right? So they should have just like picked the price. You know, the whole price manipulation thing, it definitely turned people off. It gave the watch snobs, the haters, an excuse to like say, oh, look at, they're ripping people off. This is another thing they can say about the brand. They should have said, hey, these watches are $500. They're $500, and then we're going to put them on sale for $250. We're not going to do the $400 thing. Granted, I did get mine on eBay. So like eBay, you know, supply and demand, absolutely you're going to find that. But there's no reason why I should have paid like this one here, rose tone and silver, mother of pearl face. There's no reason I should have paid $330 for this, $350, and then been able to, and that was on like one of the shopping networks, and then get one, you know, from Invicta stores for $130 5 years later, 3 years later. The price is all over the place, but that is supply and demand. But I think that didn't help the brand. They should have kind of picked the number and said, hey, this is what we sell the Grand Octane for. That's a price, $350, let's say. Oh, and then we're gonna have a sale, $300. Sell them out. If you have too many, then you can say, hey, we're having a closeout, discontinued line. We're going a little cheaper. But the whole like $130 to $5, you know, it's just, that's unfortunate. But anyway. All right, so let me hit you with the blue label. A watch that never gets worn, but I had to get it. I've said many times I wish Invicta did a red label, which would be this same thing, but like a blood red mirror polished with gold accents. They never did it. Imagine this watch in blood red, right? Gold accents, and then a bezel full of like red, you know, synthetic rubies or lab-made rubies. Even this with like blue, like, I mean, I tell you, like, I would come up with some great designs. This isn't rocket science. But anyway, still an amazing watch. Never wear this one, but I wanted a blue label in the collection, and this one here, it is pretty cool. Damn, dude. All right, so we're moving along here, folks. I really appreciate all 19, 20 of you, 21 for sticking with me through all these watches. If you're now just popping in like you missed a lot, watch the video on the rerun. Let me go with another one here. Another one I overpaid for. I think I paid $450 for this one, $4 to $450. Again, got this on eBay, supply and demand. When these watches popped up on the home shopping networks or Invicta stores direct, they were a lot cheaper. When you buy them on secondhand sellers or, you know, other retailers, they weren't secondhand, so it was brand new. But they're gonna manipulate the price based on supply and demand. So overpaid, but you know, I had a lot of fun getting it, and the excitement of getting the brown truck coming up and dropping off the watch. So you can't, you know, we're only here for a visit, folks. All right, another amazingly loud watch, the iridescent with the abalone. Look at this thing. Talk about over the top. You were that, man. Somebody's gonna say something, and they may not say, "Oh man, I love your watch." They're gonna be like, "Wow, look at that watch." That's kind of like the average there, the average statement. What a cool piece. Yeah, it's not for everybody. I get it, but man, you know, even though I don't ever wear this, this is not my go-to. I am really glad I have it. Battery is dead. Make sure on this here. John just said puke. I think he's puking. I'm not sure. Yeah, man, it's not for everybody, but that's the cool thing about, you know, well, anything you collect, you know, there's always different variations for different personalities, and you know, you buy what you like, buy what makes you happy. But that is an incredible piece. All right, so I don't know how I could have forgot this. Second to last here, the other watch that the ex-girlfriend got me years ago. And this is I think this is my favorite Grand Octane, the all black with abalone. It's just this particular design, how big it is, The mirror polishing, I absolutely love this. What a generous gift from that chick. And the battery still works. 2016 still works. 10 years. God, time flies. Love this piece. This is kind of like my go-to watch. Like when I want to wear a black watch, it's just the abalone just really pops. It's so unique. Over the years, I've been wanting to get like some kind of ring or something that has abalone, but nice black ring with abalone looks sick. I'll have to check JTV, see if they have anything. So I got like these rings from. Awesome piece. Man, I love this watch, guys. I can't tell you. It's just really, I haven't looked at these in quite some time. It's just kind of a blast from the past to be able to, have these and then, still be able to wear them, even if, like I said, I don't very much. And then this one here, long the yellow tone, gold on gold, yellow and rose. Got this on eBay. This was from they say store model, which realistically, I think that's just a bunch of nonsense. I think these are really, when they say these are store models, I think these were either factory seconds or watches that came back to Invicta and then they fix and they can't sell them as new anymore. Maybe they were returns, but I couldn't find anything wrong with it. It worked fine when the battery worked, and I got this one I think in the 3s, and you can't find it. Rose tone and yellow. These are very difficult to get your hands on, and really glad I got this one. Just gold on gold. They did make these as well with black spinel, and they were very hard to get. And I missed out on a few auctions. And, now I'm not like, oh, I wish I would have got it because I have so many. But it was a cool piece, but they only did those for a while. So, all right, so let me catch up on comments here. Bill, we left off on you. Bill, I had the Zeus Reserve and the band disintegrated. Have you had that problem with any of your Invictus? Was stored in a watch box. Yeah, no, I've heard that band disintegration. Give me a second here, man. The only watches that I've ever had deteriorate, and I mentioned in almost every one of my review videos, especially on Nubeo watches, is I don't know what the longevity is like on silicone straps. I really don't, because I have had one Sterling watch within 3 years totally disintegrate. I've had Casio G-Shock, Casio Twin Graph completely disintegrate, but granted, those were back in the 80s. I don't know. The only Invicta watch I have on a strap like that is this Sea Hunter on silicone, and this is about 10 years old. So I don't know. With mine, I don't see any signs that it's getting dry. I don't see any issues with it. I don't know. Now, at least with this, this is something I mentioned with Nubeo watches. With some of the Invictas, they do this too, but I don't never like a watch that has, granted I have a bunch, but I always get a little nervous when it comes to a silicone or rubber strap on a watch that doesn't have a standard lug width. At least this, if this watch strap fails one day, I can at least get a 26 millimeter strap, a 28 millimeter strap, and still be able to wear the watch. Whereas some watches, like for instance, if we kind of jump over to this Nubeo watch, this is proprietary. Like this strap is its own thing. So you're not going to get a watch like this, and if the strap fails, go and pay somebody to make you a custom strap. And, that's the only downside. I keep saying with Nubeo, I keep telling them, hey, why not send your watch with adapters? Make your watches so if somebody buys them and your straps fail and you're out of business, they can still get a standard strap. But nobody listens to me. So still a great watch, folks. I'm telling you. If you haven't checked out Nubeo, check out my videos. Like, for instance, just here's an example. Here, one of RGMT, another Dartmouth brand, silicone strap. But this one here, you can get a standard lug with watch strap on that. So you can go get a leather one. You can go get a stainless steel one. So this watch will always be something I can wear. It's not going to fail and then me be out of the watch. If some of the other watches fail, and this is typically why I'm more of a bracelet guy. That's never going to fail, right? For the most part. So, but hey, that's the risk you take sometimes when you buy something. When in doubt, just look at the lug width. You know, if I was buying a watch tomorrow and I was going to spend a lot of money on it and it did not have a standard lug width, I probably wouldn't buy it. If it's a $200 watch or $100 Invicta, okay, right? So, but and you know, again, with some of the Nubeo watches, a lot of them are proprietary. I don't know, you know, again, this Invicta, no problem at all. So if I ever have, I'll tell you right now, if I ever have a watch strap totally fail, I will do a video on it and give you a warning. But so far, so good. All right, and then Hunter Johnson said, do you think the gold tone is heat treated or is it gold plated? I think it's gold plated. Yeah, I don't think it's like, I think some of the materials like the iridescent is probably gold plated then heat treated to give it that kind of iridescent finish. But I think the other ones are actually gold plated. I don't know about most of the only watch I have by Invicta that is not plated with actual like gold, right? That's, you know, it's going to be like the aqua dipped ones. And those I'm not sure about as far as longevity, but gold, man, my watches are super reliable. All, you know, most of these, again, over a decade old, no signs of stopping, right? All right, what else we got here? John Weightless just gave a little puking emoji. Yeah, man. Hey, those iridescent watches are not for everybody. Absolutely. Heck, I can honestly say they're not even so much for me. But I still like them, you know, and I just wouldn't. Yeah, they never get worn, but I still. And even when I've like, you know, my collaborations when I'm like reaching out to RGMT or whatever, and I'm like, hey, send me this, send me that. They've had the iridescent finished watches, and I never have requested one since. Just because it is so loud, you know, and you're talking to a very loud individual, and I'm not really into him so much. So, but I get it, but I still dig it, you know. Anton, he said, I'm not sure if I'd wear an iridescent one, but I'd love to get one. They are mesmerizing, yeah, and it reminds me of I had back in high school, I had an RZ 350 crotch rocket, 2-stroke street bike. And I had one of the helmets with the iridescent face shield so nobody can see it. Then that was kind of like, ooh. I remember Oakley was one of the first companies kind of doing that. And so it was so cool to have this like full face mask. Nobody can see it. And so that kind of reminds me of that look, that iridescent finish. Some of the cars have it on their windshield. Like I think the Teslas do something similar. Yeah, I am always drawn to it, but does not get a lot of wrist time. I really wouldn't mind getting a smaller watch in iridescent. Maybe I'd wear it more, but I'm not really sure. But yeah, like you said, it's still cool to have. And then Captain just said my new fave watch is the Bulova Precisionist. I assume you saw my review because I have the standard silver Precisionist. It's an amazing watch with the rose tone accent. It's mainly silver, and then I had to get the all yellow gold. Hands down, awesome watch. Love it. You know, they're all nice. And that's the thing with watches, you know. It's really hard to, whether you like it's an obsession. It really is, you know. At the end of the day, nobody needs all these freaking watches. But I love it. You know, it's just I have a very obsessive personality and I can't do one of anything. Like it's about, you know, I have to get more. I see something I like, I got to get another one. And so I just hope you guys enjoyed me sharing some of these Invictas. I hope this video places somewhere on YouTube where it gets some views. Remember, I make like I don't know if you guys are aware of what views get you on YouTube, but it's very small. Like I think it's like maybe like a couple cents per 1,000 views. So, you know, you do the math. Like, and it's the thing, like when I first started YouTube, I thought like, oh, every video keeps getting views. So I have 2,000 videos on YouTube. And so you figure, oh man, if each one just makes $1 a month, awesome. It just doesn't work that way. You know, very few of the videos get seen anymore. It's a YouTube channel is constant maintenance. And unfortunately, my channel is probably never going to be a big channel ever. You know, if it was going to be that, it would have been that already. It still continues to grow. It still continues to make me money. It's layering those commissions, you know, through Amazon, eBay, affiliate agreements, whatever it is. You find value in what I'm sharing, please use the link. If you are like, fuck you, fat cat, then don't use the link. That's all I can tell you. But yeah, it would have been really cool to have a channel that really produced. This one does produce, but just not like I had hoped for. But I'll still keep doing it because it's still, you know, it's still a business and it's still pretty fun to get on here and share these things. But my goal with this, this video, it's not that it's going to go viral or anything like that. It's just these watches are pretty cool. And if you like watches, this is a great brand. It's not what it used to be. Let me just kind of go on while I got you guys here and just see what, like, I go to Invicta stores every now and then. You guys are going to want it. If you're going to buy any of these, I'll give you, please use my affiliate link for eBay, because this is where the only place you might find these. I do get commission. Just go to one of my other videos. I haven't put the link on here yet, but actually, let me just give you guys this here. And we'll just do this. Don't run off yet. I just want to show you a couple more things here before you guys go, before I go. See how long this took? We only talked about 50 watches, and it's been like 2 hours. So that's why I don't do state of the collections, because it's just not worth it. You're not going to get a million views. It's just not going to happen. All right, so let me just give you guys something here. If you do shop for any of this stuff, please bookmark this. I'll put it in the chat here. All right, use that link, bookmark it anytime you go to eBay. If you find something on Amazon, go to one of my other videos, click the Amazon link. All right, so now we got that out of the way here. Like, Invicta's back to doing the Sunday run. Remember that fucking thing? And so when I look through here, wow, this is a crazy deal. This is fucking nuts. I'm like in shock. They have the Invicta Subaquanoma 3. You guys need to fucking buy this. Even though this is from Invicta stores and I really, pissed off at them, still, this is a great deal. The Subaquanoma 3, I used to have it in silver and rose. I did end up selling it because I never wore it. This is a quartz, of course, but this is $55. And overall, it's, I don't know if they've really hacked the shit out of the quality, but it looks like the same. When companies are tooled up to make something, they're tooled up. And so I would probably say it's going to be the same. If you don't like it, I'm sure you can return it, but I'm just amazed. I'm pretty sure that's going to give you this kind of quality. So $55 for a Subaquanoma 3. Wow. That's shocking. That really is. What else we got here? Let's see if there's anything else that calls to me here. No S1 Racing. The only thing I have close to S1 Racing are Nubeo Magellans. I've done almost every color they have. You can check those out. Here's the Invicta Ghost. That's the white one I reviewed with you guys. $99. That's with the silver face. Let's see what else they got. Oh, yeah, there's the one, the S1 Voltra Carbon. Somebody buy me that. That's the all white one. The green is hot. I like the orange more. So, yeah, $99. That's a great deal. What else we got here? So those two are cool. What is this one here? There's a big watch. Titanium. Oh, my God, dude. The Invicta TI-22 Kaiju men's watch. 65 millimeter, $89. Titanium. That's a big boy. They got some good deals here. Oh, shit, what'd I do? Hit the wrong button. Here's the Subaquanoma 3 in black on black. That's a killer watch, $69. I'm trying to point you guys. Oh, no way. No. Oh, my God. Remember we were just talking about the mid-size. They don't have the name here. The mid-size Grand Octane. Here it is with diamonds. Dude, why did I do this fucking video? I don't want to buy anything. Diamonds in the bezel. You got to be kidding me. $300. A little steeper, right? But you got 2.4 carats of certified diamonds. That's a fucking killer watch. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? All right. Invicta's listening. They have. You guys fucking pay attention. They have a JT Sea Hunter mid-size. Are you kidding me? This one's a little steep, though. Oh my God. See, Invicta, I might have awoken the beast here. Let's see how big this one is. Oh my God. Case and dial. Oh no, oh my God. This can't be right. This doesn't look like this. I don't know. No, I'm wrong. This is not a mid-size. So they make, dude, you guys who like the Sea Hunter, I wish this was an affiliate link. God damn it. Let me see here. Invicta, you fucked me. Let me just do something here. Bear with me, folks. I want to see if we can find these anywhere else. Because for you guys who wanted a Sea Hunter, I got you. I got you. I kind of want to sell my Sea Hunter and get one of these. All right, yeah, these are too new. So unfortunately, you got to get this from Invicta stores. Dude, Silver Sea Hunter with diamond bezel, $4.99. I might have to throw some of my watches on eBay here. So this is where I'm like, okay, I'll get rid of this Sea Hunter so I can get that. See, this is the obsession. All right, let's move on. What else we got? All right, for you guys who were like asking about the Gladiator, here's an all gold Gladiator. It's the full size, $2.99. They brought that back. Fully iced out Gladiator, $7.99. What else we got? Oh my God, you gotta be shitting me, dude. I hope you guys are still watching me because I'm like, I'm flabbergasted. I got to show you guys some shit. Oh, wait, hang on a second. Why is this giving me a different watch? That's weird. You hover over the image, you got the wrong watch. All right, you guys got to fucking get this. Oh my God. Look at the, I'm putting it in the chat right now. It's not even an affiliate link. Look at this. All black. Black looks like, no, maybe it's not mother of pearl. Diamond bezel, $4.99. See, this is what I'm saying. Invicta, they do draw me back in sometimes. That's a killer. I don't even wear the ones I got, and I'm looking at buying this black one already. I'm telling you right now, I'm putting some of these watches on eBay tonight. If I can sell one and get that, I'm getting that because that one I'll wear. I might have to let go of the iridescent, folks. I might have to do it. All right, what else we got? Let's see what else they got for the Sunday run. Invicta Aviator Zulu, blood red. It's $80. It's pretty nice. Here's another. Dude, whoever was saying earlier for the Gladiator, they got Gladiators now. They got the all gold diamonds, $5.99. That was a little more. This has got how many? 1.75 carats. What else? What else we got? Sub-Aquanoma 4. I don't have that one. I don't like that color, but 112. Tons of Gladiators on here. Some are a little pricier because they got the diamonds, but man, I can't believe they brought back the Sea Hunter. Another Jason Taylor, blue label for the most part. $179 for the Sea Hunter, 58 millimeter. Folks, if you want a Sea Hunter, now's the time. What else we got here? Oh my God. Sub-Aquanoma. Oh my God. I don't know, guys. I think Invicta might be making a little bit of a comeback here. They got a Sub-Aquanoma 8, properly labeled, with 2 carats of diamonds done in a silver and gunmetal. $4.99, 49 millimeter. A little smaller, but man, pretty fucking sick. Looks like something out of like Gladiator. Let's see what else they got. I'm giving you guys all the hot shit here. 16 pages of goodness. And you can see, like, I've gone through 3 pages. Not a lot that I'm seeing. Like, these Coalition Forces versions, kind of generic. Here's a Venom with the shark mesh bracelet, $149. Pretty friggin' nice. Another Noma, $3.99 with the diamonds in gold. Noma 8. I knew I shouldn't have done this video today. I've been really good. I have not been buying Invicta watches in a long time, and now this website is like, it's calling me. It's like, Fat Cat, we miss you. Look at this one. Oh my God, Techno Marine. That's a good looking watch. Gray, black, and gunmetal. Very unique design. Looks like it's got like a notched crystal. Quadrant, $80. Pretty nice. And I'm just kind of going with what I see on quality. The ones I'm mentioning, I think, are going to be, and I can't 100% confirm this, but like this Aquamarine, I'd say the quality is going to be pretty nice on that. The other ones I mentioned, pretty good. Here's a Pro Diver Muertos. Okay quality, right? I'm not saying it's bad. What is this one? Now, see, here's where they get confused here. Now, they have another Sub-Aquanoma 8. Very unique. 180. What else? What else we got? I mean, I got more people watch me look on Invicta stores than we had before. Oh no! Oh, you got to be kidding me! Oh my god! Oh my! Why does somebody do this to me, folks? Look at this fucking thing. You guys got to see this. Oh my god! See what? Remember what I mentioned earlier? Invicta calls you back in. Look at this. I don't even wear what I got. Look at this watch. 2.4 carat blue label, white face, gold accents, blue on gold. $299, 2 carats of diamonds. Are you kidding me right now? That's a great deal. Oh my God, man. I'm very, very annoyed right now. Because here's what happens, folks. Sometimes when I sell a watch, it's because I see something like with Invicta specifically. I'm like, all right, I'm going to sell this one Invicta I don't wear. Instead of like doing that months in advance, kind of preparing for this, no, because Invicta hasn't done shit forever. And now suddenly they have several watches that I would like to add to my collection. And now what happens is I'm like, oh, I better throw something on eBay. And the next thing you know, like I sell it and these will be gone. Here's another one though. Invicta blue and silver. They brought the Grand Octane back. I'm really happy to see that. Blue and silver. This has got a JT. They call it Soverick Swiss Ronda. Might be maybe a newer Swiss Ronda movement. 149. It's a smaller one, 50 millimeter. Pretty friggin' nice. I know they're going to have something on here I'm going to have to pull the trigger on tonight. After seeing like, you see, and so and you guys know I want the white one, right? So $100. But then it's like, all right, well, $100, I like it. But then you see ones for $3. It's like, why not spend $200 more and get one of those? Oh, no. Oh, my God. I can't believe you guys will still watch me like look at Invicta stores. That's cool. I'm going to show you guys a couple more watches here before I go because it's getting to that time. All right, just give me a couple more pages, see if I see anything else. Now we start getting into like more generic. And they're all nice. $30. That's not this level of quality. Montrace. I've never had my hands on one of those, the prestige versions. Some of these are, I'll tell you, some Aquanoma 3, they brought that back. A lot of different color variants, $55 to $70. The Voltra, again, you guys know I like that. The white on white, it's pretty sweet. What else we got? A lot of pro divers, grand divers. Here's a grand diver, $69 with an automatic movement. I mean, it's nice to see though. Like this one here, the Chronics. They got the Chronic watch with 4 carats of certified diamonds, $379. It is green, by the way, too. The Chronic watch. Techno Marine. Oh my God, man. It is really, it's nice to see them. This one here, the Quadrant. Techno Marine Aqua Quadrant. Look at this one. I like the design on this. And I even like the color on this. Check this out. Too bad these aren't affiliate links. It's too bad. But, you know, like I said, it is kind of nice to see them. Oh, I changed my mind. The Vulture Carbon I like in the green better. I think I'm going to get that one in the green. If I pull the trigger on it for $99, it's pretty good. We'll see. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not buying that. Oh, here we go. 50 millimeter standard Grand Octane. Remember, these are like 58 to bezel, $149. Great price on that. But this is pretty nice to see Invicta coming back with, oh my God, look at a black specialty. They call it Valario. It looks like a pro diver, $25. Now, don't expect that to be on par with these, but $25. Like, you really can't lose on that watch. A lot of the stuff I'm seeing here, they got the white Venom on sale, $99. Pretty incredible. A lot of what I'm seeing is kind of like the new Invicta where it's like, it's not doing anything for me. Yeah, I'm scrolling through here. I'm on the 9th page. A lot of this is just nothing that I'm seeing that really makes me want to pull the trigger. But those iced out versions of the Sea Hunter and the Grand Octane, those ones are pretty tempting. That black one is really tempting. Let me see which one I want more. Oh man, that's pretty tough. That Jason Taylor, how much is the black one? Oh man, I don't know what the Zenthos must be. You know what I think? I think I like the Invicta JT Zenthos 2.4 carat mother of pearl with the blue. Because it's a 50 millimeter Grand Octane. I don't have one, and it is just blinged out. Let's see if they have. Let me specifically search for that. Don't you guys go buy all this shit up, man. Save some for Fat Cat. Yeah, so, okay, so that's the best one. I don't see. Man, that one's not going to last. I can't believe we still got 19 people in here. What do you guys? You guys are probably all in Invicta stores too right now. But a lot of what I'm seeing here are kind of the typical classic, boring new designs Invicta's doing. The inferior quality, I will say. But those other ones, those JT, Sea Hunter, Grand Octanes, those are pretty sweet. Let me try to filter by price. We'll go with the most expensive ones here. We'll go with high to low. Looks like they're selling like raw stones now too. Invicta always like branching off into whatever. Yeah, I don't know that black. Oh, that black iced out JT Sea Hunter is really calling my name. All right, what else we got? What else we got? God, I'm just really surprised. I really didn't think they were going to bring back. Oh no. Oh no. All right. I stand corrected, folks. They got the Invicta JT. Again, different name for some reason. It's a Grand Octane, all gold in a 50 millimeter with 2.4 carats of diamonds for $299. I need that shit. That is so sick. Oh man, this sucks. This really sucks. All right, so I'm done. I'm done oohing on at these amazing watches. Those are the best ones, I'd say. All right, I have to close this. That's it. I'm closing that webpage because I don't need to spend any more money on watches. So that's it, folks. Thank you guys for watching. Oh wait, one more comment on here. Dejvana, did you know that Invicta has 4 channels on Whatnot app, celebrating 1 year or 2 million sold in there? Yeah, so I didn't know that. So they said any affiliate, they said that they are celebrating 1 year and over 2 million sales on there. Any affiliate programs would be treated as obsolete by then. I mean, I wouldn't say obsolete, but I don't know how you have that data. Maybe do you work for Invicta? Because I'm not sure how you would have that data. Celebrating 1 year and over 2 million sold on there. Yeah, maybe I'm not sure, but I don't know who the hell would buy on WhatsApp. But I'll bet you anything they're not. Let's see here. Let me go to WhatsApp. Because WhatsApp, I would never buy on WhatsApp. That's like where a bunch of scammers are at. Let me just see what this is. I don't even know WhatsApp. Isn't WhatsApp a two-way messenger program? Yeah, I don't even know how you'd even sell on there. But please let me know, because if there's room for me to get an affiliate commission out of it, I will definitely look it up. But yeah, I don't know how. A lot of times I do see like what's not app. Maybe I'm not. Let me see. What's not? Let's see what what's not is. What's not? Shop and sell. Okay, let me take a look and see. Become a seller. Well, I don't know why they would sell what's not. What not? I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I don't think that's actually Invicta selling directly to consumer on there, but maybe they are. I don't know why they would do that when they have Invicta stores, which most people who are into collecting Invicta, they buy from Invicta stores for the most part. It's an auction site. They have an official store. Interesting. Well, thank you for letting me know. I'll definitely check it out. Can you Yeah, well, I'm on the Whatnot website. It just shows log in or become a seller. That's cool. I'll check it out. But yeah, like you said, though, companies are always changing. But again, I do think that people still buy from Invicta stores. Like on Whatnot, if they're selling directly to consumer on there, they're not. I don't think they're on eBay. So why would they not be on eBay? eBay does have some outrageous 15% to sell something on eBay. So that definitely cuts into it. But for my purposes, I don't know. Like, I don't know why. If Whatnot, if they're selling directly to consumer or Whatnot, why would they even have Invicta stores, right? Why would they even have their website? So I don't know. But point being, I don't believe that any affiliate program is obsolete, because money coming in is money coming in. And if you have people who really appreciate your brand and have helped to market your brand over the years, I would think you'd want to continue on taking care of them. But hey, what do I know about it? It is what it is. Companies make decisions all the time. Whether I agree or not, it's really irrelevant. But I do appreciate you letting me know. I'll check it out just for consumer purposes, right? See who's selling what. So before I go, I just want, while I got you guys on here, we looked at all the Invicta watches. And I flashed real quick just some of the Oceanivas. If you are looking for a watch that's not, if you discover this video and you're like, that's too gaudy for me. I'm sure you've seen my videos I've done on Oceaniva watches. They make, I think, hands down, I call them the Invicta of tool watches. They are almost like the Invicta of luxury watches. They're giving you everything you can possibly get that you would need in a watch. Sapphire crystals. With Oceaniva, their new releases are all grade 5 titanium. That's nobody can touch that. There is no other material you can put in a watch that is like this much overkill. Reese said, "Are you packing?" I am always packing. I am never not packing. Oceaniva is a fantastic brand, and you can get so much bang for your buck. There is no other watch brand that when I reference this brand, I'm doing a review for this company, and I'm sharing one of their watches. This is the one brand I say, if you ask me what watch brand would you trust your life with, I would trust my life with any watch brand. But if you had to choose one, you have to pick one brand to trust your life with in your collection, what would it be? Hands down, be Oceaniva. They're overbuilt, 20,000 feet water resistance, 6,000 meters, grade 5 titanium construction. They either use Solitas or Miyotas, the higher end Miyotas in a lot of them. Amazing construction. You really can't go wrong with an Oceaniva watch. So if you're not, I've been wearing the hell out of this one for a while now. Now, this one doesn't come on the strap. I put this on a Himalayan alligator strap that I got, different collaboration. Very cool looking. I think it works really well with that bright white face. This is the World Time version. Then, of course, we have GMT version. Same company strap. I put it on this beautiful Stingray. Stunning looking. Then we have their second newest release, and this is the straps they come on, F-cam rubber. There's nothing you can improve upon on these watches. This has got the power reserve indicator. Then, of course, we have this is, again, white version. This came on the black strap, but they sent me another white strap. Green face, GMT version. This one here, I think, and they all have different I shouldn't say they all have movements. Some have different movements. This is another 6,000 meter. I put this on just like a generic RGMT bracelet. This one here, a little thinner because this one's using, I think this one has a Solid in it. Yeah, this is Oceaniva, Reese Smith. Yeah, I wanted to share these because I don't want, the whole video is about Invicta, but if you tuned in and you were like, oh, those are all too big, then, hey, maybe you might like Oceaniva. Another Solida movement. One of my favorites. Got the aquamarine face. Mother of pearl. Very cool looking watch. And one would say these are like your classic dive watch style. Oceaniva, it's OC. Here, let me give you the affiliate link, sir. Give me 1 second here. Just bear with me 1 second. And with Oceaniva, you will save 10% off using my coupon code. And the nice thing about Oceaniva is that the coupon code, it works no matter what. It works if the watches are on sale or not. Whereas like other brands, they don't always do that. So here you go, direct link. All right. Here is the standard titanium. Non-grade 5 has more of a darker finish, but white ceramic bezel, white face. Definitely a nice looking watch. Very lightweight. Damascus. What I love about Oceaniva is, well, I know this video isn't about Oceaniva, but what I love about Oceaniva as well is that they kind of do things that are a little outside the box. Not a lot of companies doing true Damascus. This is a true Damascus constructed case. This is using 316 stainless steel, and I think, what is it, not 904. I forget. But anyway, it ends up giving you this true Damascus look on the case. Very cool. Whole face is done that way too. Bezel as well. And then, of course, we have just a standard. This is I think they're Deep Marine 2, I think. Love the silver bezel, kind of silver face, blue, half blue. And then just to show a couple more here since they're in the box. Cadola. These are Valjus. These are sold out. Like you might find these, on eBay, but nice looking, the gray on gray. Very cool. I got this watch in the black bezel, like a silver face with like a chalk black bezel. I call it like chalkboard. Great looking piece. It kind of reminds me of the Sea Hunter a little bit with that kind of aggressive gear edged bezel. Kind of cool. And then one of the most expensive watches out of my collection, the Aquadive. This watch is always around $1,800 to $2,000. And I always like to use this. This didn't come on this bracelet. This is just an Aragon bracelet. This one here came on a isofrane blue strap. But you know me, if it fits on a bracelet, I'll usually throw it on there. Great watch. ETA movement. Great loom. Great construction. German made. $1,800 to $2,000. I always like to use this, and I know that I'm not trying to downplay this brand, okay? But what I like to use is this is kind of like my comparison point. When I compare this watch, the watch snob world will tell you how great this watch is. They'll tell you this watch is worth it. It's a respected brand. It's good quality. It's not a shitter. It's a good brand. But then when you compare this, and Oceaniva, same thing. If you compare this to Oceaniva, the Oceanivas right now are on sale. Whenever Oceaniva comes out with a new line, they're going to be half the price. Basically, they have a retail price. They're always about half that. So they're going to put everybody does this. They're going to put $3,900. That $3,900 is if you were to get a grade 5 titanium watch by somebody else, the odds are that's what they're going to charge for it, right? They give you the watch for about $1,400, I think is what it was. When they release them, they go on sale half off that. So they're not making much on the initial cost. Right now, while they're running their special, when they first release a watch, they try to maximize the sales and blow it out the door. 50 units each color variation, $849, okay? $849 versus, say, $2,000 for this. You're getting, let's just say, $1,000 cheaper. You're getting a watch that in most cases is better built because of the grade 5 titanium. So what rationale, why do companies charge more for the watch, right? It's because companies design a watch, they have a business plan, they come up with a price point, they want to sell their watch on what they want to make for a watch, and they try to manufacture it for that price point to make that money. And if they have to charge $2,000 for the watch to make what they want to make, that's what they charge. Other companies do it differently, Oceaniva is not making as much on their watches. So they're building their brand, they're giving you better value. The Oceaniva is, in my opinion, a superior watch to the Aquadive. I don't mean superior when you pick one up, you're going to say, oh, man, yeah. Oh, yeah, the Aquadive sucks. It means just on paper, due to the grade 5 titanium, due to the depth rating, it's a better watch, right? Does that make a difference in the real world? No. Buy the one that you like. Buy the one that you like. If you look at this Aquadive and say, I love that vintage look, that's the watch for you. You have to pay for it, right? Until Oceaniva comes out with a vintage diver, right? So a lot of what we spend for watches comes down to supply, demand, the aesthetics, and your budget. Don't think buying this Oceaniva, this Aquadive, you're getting a better watch than Oceaniva because it's $1,000 more. Don't think that because you're buying this Oceaniva that you're getting a watch that's, you know, so much better than this Invicta specialty. Is it a better watch? Yes, due to the grade 5 titanium. Better is subjective when it comes to the movement. Rhonda, super accurate. This is a great accurate watch too. It's using a top-end Miyota, 2975, I think. But which one would I trust for a real tool? This is less complicated, less going on, right? Probably gonna be tougher grinding your hand into sand. So just kind of look at it that way when you buy a watch. But this one does not make this a shitter, okay, by any means. And this one does, you know, it's these are both fantastic watches. There's not a lot of differences when it comes to watches. There's not a lot of difference when it comes to watch quality. There's little differences. And there is a difference when you look at a very $29 watch compared to this. Yeah, you're going to be able to night and day feel the difference. But once you start to increase the price, there's supposed to be less and less that makes it worth the extra money. So just know that I reference Oceaniva in this video because it is going to give you, there's not many brands. I can't think of any other brand that's going to give you what they give you for the price point, just like Invicta. So take it for what it is. Let me read the comments here. Risa said, thank you. That's nice. Stan Clayton said Invicta. Nope, not Invicta. And yeah, and Reese Smith, again, the point of the video, buy what you like. You don't like iridescent, you don't like big watches, don't buy them. And again, Reese Smith, so he said the only reason to buy Rolex is because of resale. I disagree. The only way you make money on a watch is if either that there is a supply and demand issue. There's low supply, high demand, or you were able to get that watch from somebody who is going to lose money on the watch for you to make money. If I have a watch, let me use this example here today. Okay. I have this Oceaniva watch. Okay. This is $840 right now, $850. The moment I buy this, it's no longer an $850 watch. I just bought a watch and now it's used because it's mine. It's pre-owned. I can't sell it for $850 when they're selling it new for $850. Even if it's never been worn, I'm not going to be able to sell it unless I advertise it as new. And if I throw it on eBay for $850, why is somebody going to buy it from me for $850 when they can buy it through Oceaniva Direct for $850? The only way this becomes worth more is if they become discontinued and there becomes a demand for it where somebody's like, I should have got that World Timer. Oceaniva's sold out. Who has it? eBay. Oh, there's one. Oh, it's $950 because it's the only one there. If you have 10 other people with it, you're not going to see it for $950. You're going to see it for $850. You're going to find somebody who's willing to undercut the other person in order to make the sale. And that's how it comes at watches. Why would somebody buy a Rolex for $10,000? Let's say this was a Rolex. I just bought it for $10,000. It's no longer $10,000 because you can buy it new for $10,000. The only way a watch becomes worth more is if the demand increases and the supply diminishes. And there are millions of Rolex watches out there. So when people say that they like made money selling a watch, it might be because due to inflation. If Rolex is making a watch and they keep increasing their price, if I buy, let's say Oceaniva does the same thing, okay? I buy this watch for $850, right? And then, you know, Oceaniva keeps making their watches and they keep coming out with deep marines and they come out with the same watch over and over again, slight variations, or they re-release the watch. Let's say they come out with this watch next year, and it's $900, okay? And then next year they come out with the same watch, okay? They do another run, no longer 50 units. Say, we re-released it, same watch. It's now, we made a few improvements, right? Maybe they changed the color or something like that, right? Let's just say they didn't make any improvement. You could see, okay? Different model number, re-release it, essentially the same watch. Now it's $950. Then a year later, 2 years later, it's $1,000. This watch, okay, even though it's used and it's older, no longer is $850 because now for you to step into Oceaniva, you have to spend $1,000. So this watch might now become $900. It might be $950. That's how it works. Rolex keeps kicking the price up in order to keep driving the used pre-owned market up. But the only way you make money on a pre-owned market is why would I be here? Okay, we're 3 years in advance, right? 3 years down the road. They make this watch again by Oceaniva. It's $1,000. Why is somebody going to buy mine for $1,000 when they can buy the new model for $1,000? Unless this one, for whatever reason or other, becomes super popular. Let's say they're like, the new ones don't have the globe. or they did something really subtle that they wish they would have went back to. Maybe the loom on this was a little bit better. This becomes a little more desirable in the collector world because millions of people love Rolex, right? So that's what drives the price of a watch up, supply and demand, not simply because I got a Rolex, it's going to appreciate. It's not the way it works. All right, so the only reason to buy Rolex is because of resale. Okay, so and then Reesma said, doesn't Rolex holds value pretty much? Everything holds their value if there's a demand. But go look on eBay. You don't have to take my word for it. Go on eBay and look at pre-owned Rolex prices. You will find the same model all over the place. The only way that watch holds its value is if the newer ones become more expensive. Rolex has to keep kicking the price up in order to keep driving the cheaper watch or the pre-owned market up. So yes, if you bought a watch that was like $500 and then Rolex, I feel like there's a limit to that, you know? Now, of course, if you buy a watch and it becomes, there are those kind of scenarios where a watch becomes super like limited, like, oh, this is the one that becomes popular. And there's no guarantees of that. There's no predicting that, right? That's just my take on it. All right. So just like these Invictas that we shared today, these here hold their value too. I can sell these watches for close to what I paid. Not all of them. If I overpaid like the $400 Octane, right? I paid $130 for one Octane, $400 for another. Can I get $400 for it? Maybe. Probably not. For the one I paid $130 for, can I get $300 for it? You're damn right I can, right? So again, it really comes down to what you get it for. Let's see. Stan Clayton said, I make bank buying watches for parts or repair. I make bank buying watches for parts or repair. So you buy a watch that's broken, you repair it, you do the labor, you can sell it for more. I get that, absolutely. Okay, Reesma says, if you buy a watch for $10K, you buy a Rolex for $10K, you probably can get at least $8K for it a year later. Well, yeah, but that's not making money. That's a loss. You know, that comes down to supply and demand. I think if you have a Rolex and you pay $10K for it and you sit on it for maybe 10 years, there is the chance that maybe it will become desirable due to timing, right? But you're not going to buy a Rolex today and sell it tomorrow for more than you paid, unless there is such a, like, let's say they come up with, not saying any of this is happening, but let's say they come up with a fake shortage. You know, you buy a Rolex for 10. Oh, no, sorry, we don't have this. It's out of stock. Rolex has got a big warehouse in the back full of watch. No, we don't have it. Then, yeah, that can drive the price up. Supply and demand determine price. That's the end of the lesson there. I'm no expert, but this is just kind of common sense. Rolex is an amazing marketing company because they've convinced the world and enthusiasts that you can make money on any Rolex watch. People are delusional to think that you can make money on every Rolex. That's not the case. Yeah, but you're not. Yeah, I think if you buy a Rolex for 10, you sell a year later for 2,000 less. I think you lost your ass. I absolutely think that, because I can say the same thing for for like my Invicta. I paid here. Here's a perfect here. Give you what I overpaid. Here's an Invicta. I paid $400 for this watch. I sell this tomorrow for $200. I took a loss, but I didn't lose my ass. You know, I don't think you really lose your ass on anything, as long as it's desirable. If there's somebody who likes it, you're not going to lose your ass in it. It's, let's say the whole world tomorrow was like, oh my God, like here, let's say they outlawed anybody wearing a 50+ millimeter watch. Some would like that. Let's say they outlaw that together. You cannot wear a 50 millimeter watch. It's against the law. Then these value would tank, or they would increase because now it becomes a black market item. So again, point is, there's no guarantees in life. There's no guarantees with any of this stuff. It comes down to supply and demand. If you always get something for a deal, you usually can get your money back in it. And I can assure you that is the case. There are some watches that have no value. If it does not have a demand, like there are watches here. I'll give you an example. What do I got? I got something here. Where is it here? I have... Oh, man. All right, so this watch I got. All right, this is a pretty cheap watch. Really cheap watch. This watch is probably like $80 to $100. This is by Gentleman Warfare. They sent me this watch years ago. Here it is. Right? Quartz, basic, a cheap watch. A watch that is not on the caliber of these other watches, right? Basic, very cheap. Don't know if it's 316 stainless steel. Cheaply made, snap-on case back, no screw-down crown, generic crystal, no name brand, $2 movement, cheap watch. Nice looking, nothing wrong with it. Don't be wrong. But this watch, this name, Gentleman Warfare, has no brand recognition. This has no value. I know because I put this on eBay trying to get whatever I can get for it because I just don't wear it. I always say, you know, what's the saying? Two in the hand. We screw up the saying. You know, you can't. If a watch doesn't have a following, it doesn't have. And who gives watches following when they're new? Influencers like me, guys who buy this stuff and say, "Oh, I'm going to share it with the audience." Those are the folks who build the brand, not the brand themselves. Okay, so when Invicta is now well recognized, a lot of their recognition and frenzy came from not just me, but people who like their watches and keep buying them and share them with their friends. You don't even need a YouTube channel. Share them with your friends, your coworkers. They buy them, word of mouth, that kind of thing. Companies should never forget how they got their start, how they. And I'm not saying I did it. That's not what I mean. I'm saying companies should never forget that, because brands like this fall by the wayside without that. And so nobody's going to buy this watch. I'll wear it still, but nobody's going to buy it. It has no brand recognition, right? So there are some watches. If I were to buy this for $100 myself, I was gifted this by the company. But if I were to buy this watch, there is no resale value. But brands that are recognizable, like it or hate it, Invicta's recognizable. Aragon, Bulva, Movado, all these brands that kind of had worked their way up sort of the food chain, they have a brand recognition. If you have a brand recognition, you have value for the most part. I'm not trying to overgeneralize it, but or I'm not trying to come off as like an economics expert or, you know, whatever the terminology may be. That's not my place, but this is just my common sense and my opinions on this. And my opinion is based on what I have sold, just as not as a retailer, just somebody who says, I bought this watch, I'm going to sell it, like my Invicta. Bought it, don't wear it, I'm going to sell it, let's see what I can get for it. And usually I've made money on it. So what else we got here? Brent said non-hype models are the best. Yeah, if you're going to buy a watch because you truly like it, then yeah, absolutely. But a lot of guys buy watches so they can then try to flip them. And you can't have the whole world doing that. Nobody's going to make any money. It's just not the way it works. Reese said, I don't care if it's a $50 watch or less. Me neither. I'll wear anything. And Reese said, right, Brent, I like watches that are unusual looking. You guys know, me too. And this guy, Stan Clayton, said Invicta holds the lowest resale value in the watch market. Pulled totally out of his ass. Doesn't know what he's talking about because I just gave you an example of a watch you can't sell. So that's not the case at all. And I sold many Invictas on eBay that I just decided that I don't wear anymore. And I've always got my money back. Most time I've made money. So that's a complete false statement from a guy who strictly is just here to cut the brand down. I can assure you that if there's a demand for something, you will always get your money back on it. You usually, I shouldn't say always, but you will usually get your money back on a brand if people still like it. The day that Invicta goes bankrupt, or they already did, I guess, but the day that brand falls by the wayside and nobody wants it anymore, that's when it has no resale value, right? The difference, Reese said the difference maybe I don't buy a watch. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't buy watches to flip or sell. If I decide to unload a watch, when I buy a watch, it was never for the purpose in trying to sell it. It was always for the purpose of wearing it. And then if I just get sick of it or I just decide I'm not wearing it, then I'll say, okay, let me see what I can get for it. And, you know, there are like this watch. Again, I've given this guy a perfect example of a watch with no brand recognition. This has zero resale value. If I would have bought this myself, it has zero resale value. So in Invicta, I don't know, you know, you can Google whatever you want, but I can tell you that any Invicta I've ever had, I've sold. And I've either broke even or made money on it. So I can't, you know, maybe other people have had a different story, but that's not been my story. Bubba said, I just won an auction on eBay and Invicta Gold Center for 267. Nice. I can't believe I actually have one. Hell yeah. And congratulations. No scratches at all. Yeah. So 267 for that watch. There's an Invicta sale right there. Well, Stan doesn't make any sense here. He says it has resale value, but very low. That argument would hold water if these were $1,000 watches. They're not. They're already low-priced watches. So a low-priced resale value is what you're going to get out of a low-priced watch. So that argument doesn't make any sense at all. If you're going to buy a watch for $100 and you can resell it for $100 to $200, it has the potential to make money. If you get $50 for it, well, yeah, it wasn't a popular model. There wasn't a demand for it, and you end up losing money on it. Absolutely, but it's not that resale value is not low. That's comparable to what the watch costs. So that argument makes zero sense. Complete zero sense. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so getting back to Rolex, if you spend $10,000 for a Rolex and you have to sell for $8,000, that's a big loss. That's low resale value. We can use that same argument there. That has low resale value. Oh, well, I had an AP I had for 150 grand. I got 150 grand. Well, that makes the Rolex have low resale value. So again, it has to do with what these watches cost. Again, it comes down to very simple. What do you get it for? And supply and demand. If there's a demand for it and you got it low enough, you will make money. If you overpaid, like my example here, the Grand Octane paid $400 for. I don't know if I'm going to get $400 for this if I chose to sell it. I might have to take $300 for it. So that would be a loss. But the resale is comparable to what the watch costs. But did I make money? No, because I overpaid. And I overpaid because at that time, and this is where timing is everything comes in, at that time, these were in demand. There wasn't many. The supply was low. The demand was high. If I wanted it, which I did, I didn't buy it for resale. I wanted it not as a business standpoint. Oh, I'm going to be able to sell it. I bought this because I wanted to wear it and I wanted to enjoy it. So I was like, I want that in my collection. I'm willing to pay $400 for it. If it was $500, I probably wouldn't have bought it. But you get what I'm saying. And then you look at that watch and we go to watches like this. Same watch. I paid $136 for it. This watch, easily get $136 for it on eBay. Guarantee I get more for that on eBay. So again, it's just, I don't know why people have to overcomplicate it. It's very simple to me. But Brent said, if you keep it, where'd you go? Oops. Google it. Brent said, if you keep it a few years, you'll most likely break even. I'm not sure which one you mean. If you mean the Invicta or most likely, again, most likely. Yeah, you most likely could be right, but there's no guarantees. That's the thing. It's if the Rolex snob was always like, hey, you probably will, or you may, or there's a good chance, I can get on board with that. But this whole like, oh, you're gonna make money, you don't lose money. Invicta sucks. That's not true at all. So Rolex is the safest brand to retain your money down the road. Yeah, could be, but I can say that for lots of brands. If it's popular, I could very easily say that about Invicta. So again, I've given you the example here of the watches I have in front of us, these Invictas that I have that I've had for most of them over a decade. Well, down the road, if I want to sell them, I'm not going to really lose any money. So I think that this is a pretty safe brand. So you can really make that argument with anything that there is a supply, again, a demand for, and you have the supply. I just don't see why it's this complicated. But all right, what else? Reese said, I like a variety of watches and I can't afford to spend thousands. Brand said, not all manufacturers, but it's nice to know you have it in case you need it. See, and that's the wrong reason to buy a watch. I see, again, to each their own, but when I buy something, I'm never worried about, well, what happens if I need it? If I feel that way about something, I should not buy it. That's my simple economics. If I'm buying something and saying, oh, well, what if something happens, I can get my money back, I'm not going to buy that. I buy things with the expectation I'm out the money. That's why you buy things out of enjoyment, because you like them, not because you're like, oh, I can get my money back out of this. I don't understand that concept of buying at all. The only time I look at that concept is if you're looking at something where it's like a starter home, or if you're buying a home, you wouldn't want to necessarily buy in a bad area of town, right? Because you're like, all right, well, will I invest this big chunk of change into something I may not get my money? Those are valid questions to ask yourself. But if you are like, hey, you know what? I like this home. I'm never moving. This is my last house. And you are, again, I never say never, but you are, let's just say 100% sure that is where you're going to live, and you don't give a shit about that house appreciating or depreciating, then yeah, by all means, buy wherever the fuck you want. But I think that thought process definitely comes in when it comes to big ticket items that you are going to have to unload of in order to move on to something else. So that's my thoughts on that. Again, always buy what makes you happy. But again, the folks making, it's like these folks read Reddit and they come up with these like end all be all statements. It's just simply not true. So you can make money with anything, supply and demand, getting it for the right price. Yes, you can. But I never, if there was a guarantee, like one thing, here's what I consider a guarantee. You buy a CD. You buy an investment CD. They say, hey, here's 50. You give them 50 grand. They're going to give you a 4% interest rate. It's locked for 7 months. That's a guarantee profit. Okay. Buying a Rolex watch where the market does this, you're better off investing in stocks. So, but it's your money, not mine. And put it into whatever you want. I'd much rather do something safer. And if I wanted to take a risk on an investment, I sure as hell. And here's the thing with guys too, when it comes to Rolex, they're like, oh, it's an investment. It's not an investment if you're wearing it. Like it's only, if you're going to buy a watch as an investment, you buy it, you leave it in the box and you put it away. Then you sit on it and you see what happens in the market. You don't buy a Rolex watch and then fucking wear it for 3 years and scratch the shit out of it. Because I don't give a shit what anybody says. 904, titanium, stainless steel, gold plated, gold, whatever you want to make a watch out of. If you are going to bang it into a wall, you're going to smack it on a door frame, you're going to scratch it with your button on your jacket, it's going to happen. You're going to get some kind of scratch. And I've always said, this is my opinion, Rolex uses 904 because it's a little bit softer. And so you can polish out things a little easier. But I can assure you, on brush finish 316 stainless steel watches, go get a headlight kit, a polishing headlight kit. You put a scratch in your watch, go ahead and take the finest abrasive sandpaper and just gently brush in the direction of the scratches. You'll get them right out. Like you'll just blend it right in. And so that's why I think Rolex uses 904. It's not because it's better. It is more corrosive resistant, but it's also softer. And so it's easier to kind of polish those turds, right? So to speak. You can polish up, and Rolex not a turd, I'm just saying. You can kind of clean them up a little easier and keep the resale higher on the resale market. So that's my theory on why they use 904. Might be totally bullshit, but that's what I've always thought. I'm going to stick to it. But yeah, you don't buy these guys, these fucking haters out there buying the Rolex watch and be like, oh, I'm going to wear it for 3 years and show off and I want to sell it for more. Yeah, no, you're not. Why would I buy seriously, if I'm going to buy a $10,000 watch, and guys always ask me, tell me too, oh, you can't afford one. I go buy them tomorrow. I go buy multiple Rolexes tomorrow, cash, no problem. I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you the facts, okay? So you could take a Rolex watch. Why, if I was going to buy one tomorrow, and no matter what you make, like, as I find the more money people have, the cheaper they get. And so if you're going to spend $10,000 on a watch, no matter how much money you have, I guess there's a limit. Like if you're a billionaire, 10,000 pocket change, right? But if you're just a really well-off guy, like a good middle class, above middle class, wealth guy, $10,000 is still $10,000. I've been to $5 million homes, and people are worried about something where I'm like, are you kidding me? Like you're worried. I'm not even worried about that, So people do get cheaper the more money they have. And I'll tell you that if I tomorrow was going to spend $10,000 on a watch, okay, I'm like, I'm going to buy a Rolex. And I saw one on like pre-owned market for $8,000. I'm not buying the fucking used one. I'm going to spend the extra $2,000 and buy the new one because I want the new Rolex. I don't want to tell people I bought it used. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but that's just my thoughts on it. And that's all I have to say about it. All right, let me catch up and then we're going to close it out. This has been a great conversation, you guys. Been on here for like 3 hours. Bubba just said exactly, Phatkat, you sit on it. Reed Smith just said, I love when people say say, why do you even wear a watch? You can look at your phone. That's true. Yeah, people, it is jewelry for men. I think somebody, Brent just said it's male accessory jewelry. That's why I wear a watch. Like, I don't wear a watch until time. Obviously, I joked earlier, some of mine don't even work. The batteries are dead. I don't. My dad's always making fun of me. He's like, "Did you set the time on this watch?" Because I'm always wearing a new watch every single day or a different watch. I never have the time set. So yeah, I always look at my phone for the time, or ask somebody else for the time. I'm wearing a watch. I'm like, "What time are you at?" And they're like, "You got a watch on." So yeah, I mean, I get it. For me personally, it is about status and fashion. And for folks who are like, "Oh, well, I want the accuracy," you don't need to spend $10,000 on a watch for to get something accurate. You can spend $2 on Temu and get a cheap $2 quartz watch and have more accuracy, a more accurate watch than a Rolex. So again, that argument, people buy Rolex because for their own reasons, but they always want to make it about the quality. I needed good quality. I wanted it to be resale. No, you bought it because you want to fucking show off with the name. That's it. Reese said, Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary wears 2 watches, 1 on each wrist. Yeah, that's okay. Cool. Yeah, that's cool. A guy like that doesn't have to show off. We all know how much he's a celebrity. We all know he's filthy rich. So a guy like that doesn't have to flaunt. Maybe he wears 2 watches just because he likes two watches. I've thought about doing that. But then again, it kind of, I don't know. One's enough, All right, folks, we'll kind of turn into a podcast. I got to clean up all these watches now. I appreciate all you guys for popping in, asking questions, giving your opinions, of course, having the discussion, and then checking out those cool Invictas. Like I said, you might find some of these on eBay. You might not, but when we talk about supply and demand, these are rare. So you're not going to find them. Most people who collect Invicta watches, they don't want to sell them like me. It doesn't matter that I haven't worn any of these in like a year for the most part. They don't want to get rid of them, And so that's part of collecting. You become kind of obsessive about things that even if you don't even necessarily wear them, they're just like part of the collection, And so a lot of these, if you do find these pop up, like I can tell you right now, if I was going to sell one of these, like these Sea Hunters, right? The first thing I do if I'm going to sell a watch is I look at that model watch on eBay. I look at I'm going to take a Sea Hunter. Well, how much is it going for? If I see a Sea Hunter on eBay going for $250 and there's 10 listings, I'm probably not going to sell it because I'm like, I wanted more than $250, and the market is not going to allow me to get more than $250 because I see the same watch for $250. So then I just will say, okay, that's not the watch for me to try to sell or make money. If I want to just say, hey, I'm done with it, I'll take what I can get for it. It's going for $250. I might throw it on there for $220. Take a little bit of a loss, undercut the competition. If I'm happy with what I'm going to get for it, by the time eBay takes 15% and I got to ship it, then great, I'm going to do that. But there are watches where you might put them on there and it's like a super rare model. Nubeo, perfect example. Like there are some Nubeo, like I saw the Ice Bridge the other day, the all canine crystal watch. Some folks are selling those on pre-owned market, and they're like, they were pretty expensive new, but I've seen some of them on there going for like $1,000, and they weren't 1,000 new. So again, Nubeo is kind of building kind of a collector community where their watches are a limited edition, and then when they end up on the pre-owned market, the price can kind of skyrocket because you can't get them anymore. So that's again kicking the price up, but it depends. The Sea Hunter is huge. Sea Hunter is 58 millimeters at the bezel, and then it is 70 millimeters all the way to the crown guard. So I always like to call it a 70 millimeter watch because the crown guard is so big on it. It's not like we have a little crown popping out. It's a big, like you can see, the crown guard sticks out quite a bit. So it's one thing to say, let's say we just had let's say the crown size of a function pusher. I'd say it's a 50 millimeter watch, but some folks would be like, oh, I always hear this. I always make fun of this too, because folks would be like, oh, it's a 38 millimeter, but it wears like a 50. It's like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't wear. A round watch. Here, I'll give you an example here. Like this watch here. Here, let's go with this Invicta. Some folks will say, oh, it's a 47 millimeter. It wears like a 50. No, it doesn't. It wears like a 47. You have a very small crown guard. Watches are typically measured at the bezel. So if you have 47 millimeter at the bezel, you might gain a couple millimeters here. It wears like a 47. regardless of this little tiny itty bitty bezel. When you look at a Sea Hunter, the crown guard and crown are so big, it takes up a good almost 50% of the side of the watch. A watch like this is 58 millimeter at the bezel, but this we kind of have to incorporate because it's so big. This wears like a 70 because it's so big. I always use this too with square watches because a square watch, that real estate is, you know, if you have a 50 millimeter square, it's square. So it wears. A 50 millimeter, a square watch will always wear larger than a round version. So that's my take on that. So John Wick just said he has a 56 Sea Hunter Jason Taylor. It's brand new in the box, never worn. Yeah, throw that on eBay if you're not going to wear it, or just keep it. Uh-oh, dropping pins here. All right, anybody else have any more questions? Bubba said Sea Hunter 3 is an awesome watch. It's heavy, you feel it. A Tanu Square watch looks good. Yup. Man, I love to keep you guys on here indefinitely, but I have so many like Tanu watches, like Nubeo, Magellan. I think I have like 12 of them in almost a lot of their colors. It's a Tanu style watch. It's awesome. Very cool. One of my favorite ones by Nubeo. Yeah, the Tanu watches are cool. I like Tanu shaped watches a lot. Usually when I wear like a strap on a watch, whether it be silicone or rubber or something bright, I'll wear the Magellan. I'll show you the Magellan real quick. All right. Give me 1 second here, folks. Then I got to clean up. These watch live feeds always turn into a lot more. All right, so I'm just going to give you guys a grand finale just so you know what's kind of out there. Here is Nubeo Magellans. I got a few other ones mixed in here, but very fun. Nice color combinations here. You got the bubblegum pink, the white and blood red, all blood red, gray, purple, the casino brown. I like this one. And most of these are automatics. Got the dual balance wheel here, black and gray. These are pretty similar. The Vikings dual balance wheels. These are pretty cool. Capolas. These are awesome watches. And then we got these are kind of like my favorite Nubeo watches. These are pretty fun. These are all K9 crystal, the whole thing. So typically K9 crystal is just used in the crystal. They did the whole watch like this. Pretty awesome, all brown. I got it in and these have been popping up on eBay too. Clear. This is a tourbillon, kind of one of my crown jewels. All baby blue, pretty sweet. Then of course we have nice Tanu here. These are all automatics, by the way. This is kind of like that Invicta, like, it's got, see how it's got like the two different colors in the carbon bezel, like that lamination. That's like what I was trying to describe. Then this is more of like, this is the same watch, but then like in a flaked carbon bezel, all murdered out. The red, can't go wrong with the red. Pretty sweet. And then we have here, these are the Mavens. Maven, I think it's Maven. Nice, big, chunky square. Love these. I wore this one yesterday. Nice lavender shirt. The red on white. White and red, I mean. Blood red. I love the blood red. The orange. Very Wes Watson, all right? Black on black. Can't go wrong with that. And then this one here is the Viper. I wore this one the other day. The red. Kind of similar to the other one, but different styling. And then can't go wrong with the black. Pretty badass. They're all fun, right? They're all pretty cool. That's it. Oh, John Wick just said the Icebridge watches are incredible. James just said the Icebridge watches are incredible. I love those. They really are awesome. Like, they came and went. Yeah, Yeah, I could wear a watch for every. I think I have about 400 to 500 watches. I don't really know how many, but yeah, I got a lot. Reese said I like the hands on the watch, and then John Wick said about 1,500. They all work and all get maintained. Wow, that John Wick must be well off because I don't maintain any. Obviously, I don't even put batteries in them. So, but you know, my situation is different. 1,500 watches is an impressive collection. I would love to see that. Yeah, I have, like I said, 400 to 500. I don't know. You know, and I don't like most of my watches. It's too bad. I wish I had like a beautiful display thing, but I don't. The only way I'd have that is if I had like a walk-in kind of like safe room or like a, you know, like if I was really well off, I had like a huge house with like a room you can kind of dedicate towards like your firearms and kind of collectibles and stuff and have like a wall of watches. That would be really cool where you can like see them all and kind of choose what to wear. But mine are all locked up in safes. And so it's kind of a pain in the ass to like, what am I going to wear today? I have to like kind of go through it all because, you know, when folks, like I think somebody said earlier, or, you know, some folks say, oh, those watches don't have any value. They all have value. And if you have a huge collection, they all like, if somebody breaks into your house for a snatch and grab, you're going to lose the sentimental aspect of it for one, because watch collectors, it's not like it's just something we collect because we're like, oh, well, fuck it, I don't care. You know, I just wear them. You know, like it's part of the collection. Like it's sentimental. And so you would be upset because a lot of them you can't replace. That's how watches are. Like they make them and then they don't. And then, you know, what else? And then the monetary amount, right? You know, like, so, yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Reese said, I hate when I wear a watch. I really like it, scratch it or drop it. I've never dropped the watch. I have scratched a watch, but you know, it's some things. I just get my mentality with that is you're just gonna scratch a watch. It's just gonna happen unless you, even if you wear it once a year, like like I said, my leather jacket, the button always scratches my watches. You know, unless you have a watch that you're so fanatical about, you're gonna wear a short sleeve shirt. You'll be so. Then I don't even want to wear it. You know what I mean? It's just like I'd rather just know that I'm gonna wear these. They're gonna get a little bit of scratches. I'd rather scratch my watch than my car. That's, you know what I mean? That's that's me. But and then James said I keep my collection under 30, so I'm constantly flipping and buying. Yeah, man. I mean, I wouldn't have this many if I didn't have a YouTube channel. You know, the Invictas, remember, I bought those. The Aragons, I bought those. But watches I have, like some James bought me a few watches. They were gifts. The other ones, you know, I'm fortunate enough to do this marketing and I get watches. So that's pretty cool. So I even showed you guys, you know, I have a bunch more, but this is it for today. I want, again, thank you guys for popping in. You guys subscribe to the channel. You know, you guys have all been a lot of fun to have in the chat and to ask questions and share your opinions and thoughts. And that's what I love about these. It wouldn't have gone on this long if I didn't have you guys like just, you know, popping in and asking questions. So thank you for that. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. So, you know, I don't do these very often. But when I do, it does. I only do them, like I only stay on this long if I have people watching, right? And people interacting. Otherwise, I kind of cut it short. So again, thank you. Subscribe so you can know when I'm going to do these again. And yeah, I had a good time. Thanks, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Have a good day. Oh, I forgot how to turn off the camera. See, it's so rare that I do these. I don't even know how to shut it down. Doing this for a decade, I act like I've never done this before. Oh, well. Thanks, guys.